Spider-Man fans, swing on over here because you're not going to want to miss this. Everyone, please give a big, huge San Diego Comic-Con welcome to the writer behind Amazing Spider-Man, Zeb the Zamboni World! How does it feel to continue now 20 plus years writing Spider-Man stories?
It's an honor and a privilege, and it's weird to know that you're at the pinnacle of what you'll do in the industry, because it won't get better than this. Because it won't get better than this. Because it won't get better than this.
You serious?
All right, let's do this one last time.
There had been, sort of a suggested 6 months of him just being depressed and not doing too much Spider-Manning, everyone being upset with him, and him not being in a mood to mend fences.
Real quick, can you tease about Kamala's role in this series coming up?
She will play a big part in Dark Web, and then we have big plans for her in the second year of Amazing Spider-Man.
It finally feels like it's all about to go wrong for Norman in that last page.
Yeah, he's having a hard time, and I think that was the challenge. Can we get it to a place where not only is it surprising if he does go back, but people are bummed?
Yeah, so we have Ben Reilly, who has gone to the villainous side as Chasm, and he's coming back for a little bit of revenge on Peter Parker.
He hated me with a passion. This is starting to sound like a bad comic book plot. It gets worse.
What are you most excited for fans to see in upcoming issues of Amazing Spider-Man?
How Spider-Man gets in his bad mood at the beginning of Spider-Man's first hunt, I really am excited for people to see.
And now it's just, how does everything we've set up play out? And that is always really fun, because you have just a bunch of balls in the air.
Whoops, I forgot to, whoa, that microphone is super loud. Holy crud, redlined it there immediately. Whoops, I forgot that I have the shortcut on it. So, my bad, guys, but we are back. We are here for another episode of The Good, the Mad, the Ugly, and I am glad you are all joining me on this fine Friday. If you guys didn't notice, yes, as freaking Punk points out here, I always do have technical issues, and this is actually the second incarnation of tonight's stream. I don't know what happened that first time, guys. I was logged in, everything was going good. I hit play, and YouTube just cut me. Like, I didn't even make a sound. You guys saw it, like the intro started for a second, and then it just went. So, don't know what that was about. That's why we have this new stream. But yes, got to keep it boomer. Got to make sure that I didn't fix my intro button here on my stream deck so that it cuts it short. But aside from that, like I told Zero down here, it is one step forward, 900 back. As we are getting ready for the launch of the new layout, I am still tweaking things, and some things are improving. So, again, not full boomer, but I'm getting there, right? I'm leaning into my boomer, my oncoming boomerism, considering that that's only about like 10 years away for me. But yes, guys, we are back. It is Friday night. It is the end of another ridiculously long week. I hope you guys are feeling great. I hope you guys haven't had too rough of a week. And if you have, well, that's why we have this show, right? So you guys can come here. We can all hang out together. We can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, and just sort of kick our weekends off right with some positivity, some laughs, some making fun of either terrible comic book writers or terrible movie trailers, whatever's going to come our way, right? But yeah, so obviously the main topic for tonight is we finally have the first issue of the post-Zeb Wells Amazing Spider-Man era. So I figured we could crack onto that on this show, right? I mean, where else are you going to get your Amazing Spider-Man news? By actually reading the issue? I don't think so. I wouldn't recommend it. Well, okay. That sounds bad because I am actually kind of positive on this issue. That, again, the Wells stuff, just bad taste in my mouth. Never going to go away. Yes, Timon, that actually wouldn't be a bad, change the name of the show to The Good, the Mad, the Glitch, because at this point, that's all that's going to happen. I don't know how many of you guys here check out my other show that I do with Andrew on Thursday nights. I know that I occasionally see Zero and Corey there, and Punk, of course, but Foil Variant has like the worst technical issues, and I couldn't tell you what they are. Like, it's a new one every day. either Andrew's camera doesn't want to come through on the service we use, maybe a microphone drops on our end. So I'm just going to blame Obama, okay? Thanks, Obama. But yes, guys, I'm happy to hang out with you. We got Amazing Spider-Man. Question, did we... You guys will have to remind me, because I've told you guys before, but when it comes to like time and weeks and days and stuff, everything sort of runs together for me because of the nature of my job, right? Like as a newsman, you just sort of, what's in the cycle now? What's in the cycle now? You don't really think about days. So if you guys can remember or not, just somebody let me know. Have we talked about when did D23 Brazil happen? Was it this last weekend? Because if we haven't talked about it, there's definitely some things I want to talk about with the 2 big trailers that we saw drop out of there. Aside from that, yeah, whatever you guys want to talk about, hit me up, drop your topics. You guys know how this stream always goes. I always come in here with a semi-plan, but we always get detoured, sidetracked for about 2 hours until I have to wrap up the actual final topic on in the last 30 minutes. But before we get into all of that, let's say hello to everybody. And yes, as you guys saw with the comments popping up through the intro, I've mastered the comment technology. So now we can actually see everybody even from the first stream. So obviously, like we knew, we have our boy Dozer here. What's up, Zero? Always a pleasure to hang out with you, mi amigo. We have Corey, who says, I could be watching Mike Tyson versus Logan Paul, but I'm watching this gay-ass stream because I don't have Netflix and don't really care about that fight. Hey, Spencer. First off, hey, Corey. Second of all, okay, I don't care about this fight either. This fight is quite clearly going to be... Okay, I think everybody knows that this is probably going to be a hyper-rigged fight, or a staged fight, rather, not so much rigged. But I think everybody here knows it's probably going to be a staged fight. To that end, I think the only outcome of this that I would accept as like legitimate and go, this was a real boxing match, is if Logan Paul dies. Like, sorry, YouTube, I don't know what you're going to do to me, but if he doesn't die in the ring, then this entire fight is staged. And that's the only outcome I want to hear about. If it's a tie, if it's a draw, I don't want to hear any of it. But I just want Mike Tyson to just destroy Logan Paul. I know it's so very cliche to, be a Logan Paul hater or whatever, but I've hated that guy for so long. He's one of those people that I feel like his popularity degrades sort of the overall, like, not culture, but like attitudes of people, of sort of, it's just, I don't like him. I don't think we really need a deep reason to not like Logan Paul. But yeah, I really hope that if this happens, he just straight up gone. Yes, we also have my boy Timon, the Meteor Herald. He says Iron Spider spawn. A little bitty. This one would be more, this suit that we're looking at that you're talking about in the thumbnail from the new Spider-Man issue. It's actually more akin to the Iron Spider armor if he was a common writer. Or not the Iron Spider armor, like the armor, like the silver one, if Spider-Man was a common writer. We'll get into it. I'm so very torn on this costume, guys. You guys know how much I love my alternate costumes, my alternate suits and all that stuff. And there are things I like about it, but there are also, like, there's something I can't quite put my finger on why I'm not all on board yet. But we'll talk about that as we get into it. So yes, we got Timon in the house. We have Tehillim. Shalom, and good to see you, my man. Hey, Tehillim, I haven't heard from, or I have heard from you in a while. You're in all the streams. You're always hanging out with us. But I haven't heard in a while. What are you reading, man? What are you checking out? What have you been watching, reading, playing? What have all of you guys been watching, reading, playing? There's been lots of pretty cool stuff that's dropped lately. In all mediums except for probably movies. I feel like movies are in a particularly bad spot right now. I mean, you guys just got Red One, or you guys, as if I'm not part of the movie going public, but we got Red One. So I was talking with, you guys probably know him, you love him, you've seen him around, my good friend Culture Casino. We were recording a video for his channel earlier today, and the subject was how bad that movie is doing. So for those of you guys who don't know, Red One is this new Netflix movie starring The Rock, Chris Evans, J.K. Simmons, Lucy Liu, about Santa. He's like a secret agent, but then he gets kidnapped, so then they got to go save him, right? It's just the most... Every everything you can think of from that, if you just go, oh wow, I bet I can. If you take the like cynical teenager route and be like, oh man, I bet I know that. Oh shoot, what the heck? I just realized that the my chat window over here, my YouTube chat window isn't updating us anymore, and that's sad because yeah, you guys can see. So while I'm good, man, now I got egg on my face because like while I'm good and I can pull up all of your chats from both things. For some reason, the chat right here doesn't want to work. Luckily, that should be a pretty easy fix. So I'm gonna go over there and we're gonna check it out. And if you guys don't know, I use I don't even know what I use. Oh, Stream Elements. That's what I use to make sure that I can do all of my fancy layouts because we need to be able to see you guys. And honestly, piece of inside baseball, when I'm on this screen, seeing all the chats like populate over here, it helps me know like, oh yeah, I got to like talk to you guys. Let's engage. You guys are actually around. I don't have to just carry this entire conversation on myself. This is not the first 4 episodes of this show anymore, right? Like we have everybody here. We have our friends, we have our audience, even you guys watching in the VOD in post. Like so let's see. Remind me later. I don't need to do that. Feed. Where is my thing? I need streaming tools, overlays. So cool. Edit. Okay, there we go. Now, so it's fine on that end. I don't know why it doesn't want to work over here, but let's see. Maybe I just need to it's not 16th time, all right? This is the first time I'm looking at all of you, okay? This is the first time this has happened on this stream. I've never had the overlay over here die on me. So, let's see. And we are back. There we go. I fixed it. Check that out. All right, so we are back in play. I can see your guys' chats again. Let's keep going. Punk, what is going on, my man? Punk says, now that Deadpool Wolverine is on Disney Plus, I'm going to watch it this weekend. Good pick. Honestly, the movie is a lot of fun. I like Deadpool and Wolverine. If I want to get pretentious and really get into my artistic knobby side, there's a lot of things I don't like about the movie, particularly in the way it's shot, in its production values. Like there's just things there that I think, you know, it's suffering from modern movie making syndrome, and but overall, none of that really takes away from the enjoyment of the film. Like I can watch that film and be like, I am having a good time. It even does like references and callbacks in a way that doesn't get overt in your face, which is surprising because you would have imagined something coming out of Marvel would have just been Deadpool sitting there reading off a scroll like, do you remember these characters? Blah, 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 blah. But thankfully, nothing like that. Oh, but you know what? We'll get to that. Okay, you know what? We'll get to that. I'm writing this down so that we can remember this, so that we can get back there. All right, hold on. Putting a little note right here. Okay. There's something I want to talk about that's Marvel related that I totally just blanked on, and Punk's mention of Deadpool and Wolverine made me think about it. So we'll get back to it. Hey, Volume Dealer, what's going on? Yes, it is a rigged fight, and that's what I'm saying, right? Like, the only outcome I'll accept of it not being a rigged fight is if Logan Paul just ceases to exist. Like, gets atomized in the ring, which we all know Mike could if he wanted to. But yeah, I unfortunately think that's probably going to end in a tie. It's going to be kind of bad. Awesome. Timon says D23 Brazil was last week. Great. Then there are some things we can talk about and some things we can make fun of. Cannot wait to talk to you guys about that. Zero asked, what is there to even talk about this week? Dragon Age Veilguard, done. I don't care about Veilguard anymore. I don't want to hear it anymore. There's nothing left to talk about with that game. Okay, guys? Like, there are still people trying to make daily videos on Veilguard. We all know it's bad. We've all seen the proof. There's nothing left to talk about there. Just let it fade off into obscurity. But yeah, what there is to talk about this week is very light. It is mostly things that I don't want to talk about on this stream because it's all, it's mainly, it's stuff we cover over on the 0-1 stream. And it's just, we focus here on this show, and you guys know it, and I would like to think that's why you guys come over here. We focus more here on our hobbies and entertainment and stuff. I don't want to get into necessarily full culture war talk here, because I think, like with my thing about how we're always, knee deep in crap all week, we're knee deep in the culture war all week. And I think it is very healthy for all of us to remember, like, to detach, that there's a life outside of it. And that's what I want to do that's what I try to do with this show. Talk to you guys about things, maybe talk about culture war things, but in a more in-depth perspective, instead of just going. So, yeah, nothing really to talk about there. But yeah, we have Spider-Man. We've got some Marvel trailers. We've got we have things, like I'm not going to lie, Dozer. I was like you. I was like, what am I even going to talk about this week? And then I was like, I can't do the same excuse I did last week where I was like, guys, it's slow. I don't know what to do. So, but no, there is enough stuff. I know we have enough on our docket that'll probably take us right into our closing time. So don't even trip about that. Let's see. Yeah, Volume Dealer says the new costume is a mishmash of Spider-Man costumes from what I saw. Did the stream go down again? I didn't. This time, nothing showed up on my end. That is a YouTube issue. Everything looks good on my end. And yeah, Corey's confirming it. Your stream is being gay tonight. I mean, it always is because I'm the host. But yes, it is being particularly a jackass right now. And I will blame YouTube fully for this one tonight. Yeah, Andrew, before you hopped on, I was having awful, like, I don't know if you've been around, how long you've been around, Andrew, but before, like at the very start of the show, stream started, got killed. I had to boot up a new one. The Zeb Wells intro thing reverted, so it cut off early. My microphone was super high. And then I was like, so I told everybody that, and then I was like, but you don't even know. This is nothing compared to Foil Variant. Foil Variant is a disaster for us lately. I have no idea why. Yeah, Punk says it'll be his first time watching that. Good. You'll have a good time. Do not get me wrong. You will have a very, very fun time watching that movie. Like, I definitely enjoy it. To be fair. Oh, no, Zero. I'm not shellacking you for it. That wasn't my exhaustion wasn't with you. That was just sort of me jumping off of your point. Because yeah, you're right. Like, there's nothing really to talk about there anymore. But I was just jumping. So no worries there, man. Volume Dealer says Asmongold says Twitch is done. Look, I don't know about. There's too many moving parts in this story to make a definitive prediction. Yes, Twitch is really shitty. It's not really good for creators. It obviously has a very 400 tiered moderation system because VTubers get treated different than real streamers who get treated different than yada 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 and so on and so forth. So there's all that, but it's sort of a what is the alternative out there? Kick sucks. Nobody wants to go stream on Kick because honestly, guys, I know a lot of people, the main Kick personalities, so when people go like, what's Kick got to offer? All of those people like Aiden Ross or whatever, they're all just annoying. They're just like, I don't want anything to do with you. You are just an annoying existence. So I just, there's nothing appealing about Kick. YouTube is okay, but it is a tad more censorious when it comes to video game stuff. So right now, unless there is a giant bombshell that, yeah, I don't know what it's going to happen. Remember, it's owned by Amazon. So while it's losing money, they have the money to keep that thing going in perpetuity, right? Remember, even Jeff Bezos even admitted when Rings of Power Season 1 did really bad, he was like, yeah, it missed the mark, but you know what? This is what we're trying for, so we're moving forward. They don't abandon things that quick, or if they do abandon things, it's very rare that they just full-on shut it down. So what you would probably see is the evolution of the service into something more Prime Gaming related. I have no idea how it's going to go down. I don't stream on Twitch. I should stream on Twitch. I've got a channel and everything. You guys have all watched me play video games over there. But it's just another one of those. Everybody is trying to figure out the formula, right? On the internet, like it's impossible to know, like, how do I get a successful channel? How do I make my content keep going? Is this organic? Is this inorganic? Is this a bump in like one? There's so much going into these analytics and logistics that until something happens, I'm just going to wait until something happens. But I'm also a big proponent of the meme that nothing ever happens, because literally nothing ever happens in this, like, in the world. It sucks. Pardon me. Yeah, the adpocalypse has another adpocalypse has come to Twitch, but these advertisers are also finicky. It's just, there's way too many moving parts and we don't have enough information yet. Asmongold might, because he is so connected with, the upper echelon, not echelon, but the upper management of Twitch. He might have more info, but yeah, I have no idea. Oh my, Odyssey? I haven't heard that name in like years, Zero. So no, that thing is completely toast. That one hasn't been a thing. Yeah, exactly. Twitch isn't going anywhere, not anytime soon. If something is going to happen to Twitch in the near future, it's probably going to be either like I said, a shift of the service to something more Prime Gaming related, or a sale to somebody else. So like the platform's just not going to go away. It's just, people are going to keep trying to thread that needle of like what's appropriate content and what's, not happy with our ad partners. And it's just, that's the name of the game in this sanitized era of the internet, right? Like the old West era of the let's say like 2006, 2008 era internet, it's never coming back. All that freedom, all that sort of cultural understanding, like Bane style. We were all raised on the internet. We were born in it, molded in it. But in 2006, 2008, 2007, in that area, or in that era, okay, let me rephrase, because I just totally screwed up my presentation of that. So we were all born Bane style on the internet. We knew how to use the internet. We knew like handles. We knew forum etiquette. We knew all of that stuff. Eventually, come 2006, 7, 8, the accessibility of smartphones makes the internet way more accessible to everybody for the first time in forever. So now what you're seeing is all the normies who come in and like lose their mind, again, on either side, whether you're, like a liberal or a conservative, all these people who come in and don't understand how the internet works, like, it's just tourism. We all would understand, like, oh, I called you a bad name in a game. Oh, I called you a bad name in a game back. And we'd all understand the culture of what we're engaging in, what it means, what this is signaling, all that. But these guys don't know the culture. They don't understand it, and they don't want to. So they come into the internet and they go, oh my God, and they freak out, and then it just causes us cascade that we have to appeal to them instead of your core base. Again, like, that's, you've heard that complaint coming from everywhere, and that it's just going to be one that keeps going in this era of line always has to go up. The COVID boom, just like, it destroyed our economic sense, and we're not going great. He started that. He taunted them. They put themselves in a corner. Oh, I'm not a fan of Twitch. I'm not saying they're in the right or I don't like Asmongold. I actually am just kind of neutral on Asmongold. I don't really have a take on him. But yeah, like I am fully not a fan of Twitch's moderation. I am not a fan of the way Twitch operates their platform, specifically with, you guys know me. I am far from a prude. I love my booba. I love my ladies. You do you. But I think there is this problem, and okay, I'm going to like philosophize here for just a second, because this is something that has been on my mind, where it's like, in America, I think we definitely have this problem of toxic individualism, which is like, all of our thoughts of like freedom, of self-reliance, it's sort of warped in the modern era as it got adopted by like culture war stuff into this sense of, oh God, no, did I lose my train of thought? So yeah, like, that's all evolved into this toxic individualism where people go, yeah, me, I only really care about myself. Why should I have to, oh, you don't want me to say that? Well, that's a violation of the First Amendment. Like, I'm going to say it anyway. You suck. And it's like, all I did was ask you to not swear at my, kid's birthday party. People have gotten to that, like, that degree. So I don't like, it's really hard for me to see how something like Twitch, without very, very, very strict and fair enforcement of rules, can sort of do things like, I'm not a prude, but I think that having your Twitch's main demo is teenage boys, and to let the borderline pornography content just be freely accessible there, that's a problem, especially doubled by the fact that these women are essentially preying upon them, right? They know they're using their booba and their bodies to entice donations from them, which fine. You're a woman, you do you. But teenage boys, more than, adult men, aren't going to have the sort of mental capacity to understand, oh, I'm not getting anything out of this. Teenage boys will fall into the trap of, if I give her something, if I give her $5, she's going to like me. We were all teenagers. We all remember how dumb our dating logic was back then. So all of that combined, it makes me super uncomfortable that Twitch is basically just preying on teenagers. And so I don't like that. But too many people, if we went, hey, let's maybe just full on stop the hot tub streams on Twitch. We got to stop this like borderline porn stuff. If somebody does that, too many people will go, but I'm an adult. I want to do what I want. There's no sense of like, okay, I know I can legally, rightfully do what I want, but I understand that there's a collective goal we're working towards, right? And so, yeah, like I don't know. Nobody is going to want to take that first step. No hot tub streamer is going to go, okay, you're right, Twitch. We've been over the top. Let me, put on a normal streaming setup. Let my personality shine through. Nobody's going to do that. And so it just, all of that skeeves me out. And yeah, so that just, and then like a side note to this, cause it just kind of popped in my head. It makes me it makes me laugh so hard when like super right wingers go, oh yeah, look at Japan. It's so nice. It's so clean. Oh, this is what America should be like. And it's like, you guys would not for a second. If somebody went up to one of those guys and was like, hey, you dropped your litter, they would shit their pants. Oh, I'm sorry, liberal. Oh, you're policing me now? Like with that kind of attitude, they're full of shit because they don't want to foster high trust. They just want to use it as a cudgel to say you're not doing good enough. But that's enough of that toxic individualism philosophizing. It kind of makes me sad because obviously everybody should be an individual. You should embrace your uniqueness, but we live in a society and we should be looking out for our neighbors, and we shouldn't have to legislate things like this. It should honestly just be like a common courtesy. But alas, here we are, and Zero is right. Rumble is okay, but entertainers fear that platform. I wouldn't say they fear that platform. I think honestly the biggest thing that's in Rumble's way right now is just its UI, just its user experience. I like Rumble. I do. I think the video player is actually really, really strong, as is their live streaming capabilities. But like here's an example of something that always annoys me, and it's why I don't go on Rumble so much. If I go, it won't keep me logged in, for one. So if I hit like remember me, the cookie won't save. So anytime I go back to the site, I have to log in. But if I log in, leave, go back to the site and go to like somebody's chat, like let's say Andrew is streaming on Rumble, he doesn't, but just an example. Let's say he's streaming on Rumble and I go into his chat. I might look signed in, then I hit like chat and it says, oh, you need to, be a subscriber. And it's like, what? And then you go and you go to like hit your profile button and it says you're logged out, log in. So you got to go through the whole rigmarole. So I think it's just really that it's right. It's always a service issue. The popularity of anything is always boils down to service, and the service being provided by Rumble's UI is not the best yet. Once it gets more streamlined or not streamlined, but smooth and actually verifiably works most of the time, then I think Rumble is poised to jump way higher than it already has. And to their credit, they're already way bigger. It is a feat, guys, to come up as a competitor against YouTube and still be here and still be moderately successful, popular, if you will. It's genuinely impressive. It's almost the equivalent of you've got Coke, right? That's your YouTube. Everybody drinks Coke. Coke has all of the sodas that you might want to drink. And I know the Pepsi thing, but just bear with me for this analogy, all right, guys? So there's Coke. Everybody always goes to Coke products. Even if you're drinking Sprite, you're going to a Coke product, yada, 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 yada. And then somebody comes along and says, hey, my name is freaking Punk. I'm going to make Punk's Cola. And Punk's Cola someday, maybe it's not, the most well-known brand, but all of a sudden you're sitting down at a restaurant and on the menu it says Coke, Pepsi, Punk's Cola. That in and of itself would be like an accomplishment to find recognition on that same level. So that's where Rumble is for me, even if it's not, the biggest dog yet. I am optimistic for its future. Oh yeah, no. Yeah, he's not Twitch Jesus. I don't even like Twitch. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I'm on your side here, Volume Dealer. The rules, it's not even. It's hard to say there are even rules because over the past few weeks or months rather, Ryan Pearson, one of our writers over at Bounding Into Comics, mainly our video game guy, he's been delving more into. He's a big VTuber guy, so he's been writing more articles for us about VTuber stuff, doing interviews with VTubers, and learning stuff through that. It is, there's got to be a basis of a lawsuit for VTubers because like Twitch will arbitrarily change the rules for them at a whim. And normally it's like they close the channel and they go, you got to fix it. Normally for any of us, right? Like let's say I was a big booba girl and I had too much cleavage. They would go, okay, you just got to put a shirt on. And I could walk over to my closet, grab a shirt, throw it on. The problem is with VTubers, they have to go get full-on new models. So they've got to go commission the artist. They've got to spend the time rigging it up. They've got to change everything. And it costs them money. It costs them time. It's not easy. It's stressful. It's just, we need fairness. That's all I really ask for in this life. Fairly enforce your rules, no matter what side, what person, what leaning is breaking them. That's all I ask for. And no platform is ever going to give us that ever again. I used to have a Twitter account, but I left it because it became so toxic. Here's the thing. I genuinely hate Twitter now. You guys, if you guys have watched me here, if you've watched me on any of my other appearances anywhere, if you've caught me on the WDW Pro Show and you've found why all of his viewers hate me now and why I'm not always on that show as often as I was. No, I'm kidding. I'm just not on it because I'm busy. But his viewers were angry at me for this one. I am not a fan of Elon Musk. That man genuinely makes me angry. I think the worship around him is stupid. I do not think he contributes anything. I think everybody just sucks up to him because he's on their side, right? So the man is annoying. The man is not intelligent. The man is just, he is the saddest man-child possible. Like everything he does is because he wants his ego boosted. I will never have respect for the man who, like this, when I read this story, this is where I was like, I am never, ever, ever going to have a modicum of respect for him. There's that story where during the Super Bowl, he tweeted out, "Go Eagles." And it got like 30 million, views. President Biden tweeted out, "Go Eagles," and it got like 60 million views. And Elon Musk spent the entire Super Bowl fuming, wondering why he wasn't getting more likes, and then left the game early to go back to San Francisco to go to HQ and go, "Hey guys, why is the algorithm fucking me like this?" So, the man continues to I loved Twitter. Twitter was my platform of choice for years through Instagram, through Facebook. Again, it's sort of like what I was talking about. There was a community sense, a culture sense on Twitter. When Elon came in, all the functionality changes that he's done have absolutely ruined it. If I go click on a reply to a big account, now there's all the replies are 5,000 bots from India that are all verified, that are all posting the same video that was popular 2 days ago so that they can get those ad buck engagements, right? I can't, he shut off access to API, like the Twitter API for free. So now all the apps I used to use to multitask between all of my accounts, they don't work. So now I have to, I'm in my Kabuto Writer Mav one. Now I have to physically change to Bounding instead of just I could, hold a button and retweet from there. The block thing makes me pretty pissed off too, where he changes the block so that if you block someone, they can still read all of your shit. They just can't interact with it. And that's only because, again, just if you look at all of this through the angle of he's doing this for popularity, then all of it makes more sense because nothing he does makes logical sense on the user end. But yeah, to that end, I hate Twitter now. But I was here first. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving until you burn this place down. I'm like Carl in Up. Sure, you're building up all around me and it all sucks and it's all not going to work in 3 days because that's how Tesla products work. But I'm not leaving. I was here first. Yes, exactly, Andrew. Teenagers and adult men with zero self-confidence and social responsibility. Those are the ones who always screech like that and not having it. Shinkai, what is going on, my friend? Always a pleasure to see you. I'm glad to have you here. Yeah, the ads on Rumble are pretty sketchy, and that's what I mean. Like they don't have the biggest like support base yet, ad base yet. So give it time. I would still consider Rumble kind of early on in its lifetime. Here's the problem, Punk. I don't like Threads because I don't like that Facebook ecosystem. The privacy invasions from that company do not make me, I'm just personally not comfortable with them. So I already have an Instagram that I sort of use, mostly just like talk to friends. And I have a Facebook that exists just in case somebody needs to find me, right? And I don't want to, I don't know. Something about Threads doesn't appeal to me, unfortunately. And that's not to say any other platform has appealed to me yet. Blue Sky has probably come the closest. But the functionality still isn't there. They still need to sort of, go through some phases. And again, like, I just want I want to be able to curate my feed, and Elon's Twitter doesn't let me curate my feed. So, like, what I like about Blue Sky is that I can sort of leave behind all the shittiness of Twitter and go, booba, tokusatsu, this is what we're here for. And just sort of, like, breathe and go back to a time when all of this stuff was just noise in the background. Oh, volume deal. So many spam bots adding you as a friend or like following you, spam bots adding. I don't know if you guys get this, but I get added to like group DMs by like Chinese bots. It's annoying. It's just annoying. And yeah, it's just the site altogether has gone down in quality, and it really bums me out because I thought Twitter had a purpose. It had a point. It had its role. And now, like, he comes in and he changes the name. Which is like, dude, the word tweet is like a verb now. People would kill their children for that kind of brand recognition, and you just threw it away because you think X sounds cool. Like, this is what I mean. I don't understand how people think he's a good businessman. He just made good investments. Lots of morons make good investments. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, the migration to Blue Sky is funny because they'll probably be back to Twitter because there's nothing to be gotten for them in such a bubble. That's really what it is. And then, yeah, you put up, you sum it up here really well. They need a dragon to slay at the end of the day. And that's a lot of what it is, right? The people who are performative about, like, I'm leaving Twitter. It's like, you're doing that for attention. I don't know if you really care about what you're doing, but you're saying that so people will go, you're so good. You're on the right side of this fight. I knew I could trust you. This is why, like, the people I actually respect when they say things like, I'm not going to buy that anymore, or I'm not going to watch that, or I'm not going to support them, or I'm not going to use this. The people I respect are the ones who just do it, who just don't, like, okay, I'm going to stop. And they don't make a big deal out of it. If somebody asks, they'll be like, oh, yeah, I don't use it because of this. But anybody who comes out and is like, look at me, I'm so great for doing this. It's the same thing. We've talked about this before with, like the anti-child trafficking people or the anti-culture, like the anti-woke people or whatever. Anybody who is super, super loud and performative about their actions is either a disingenuous person or they are they're just not somebody to be trusted, right? Like they're hiding something. Teddy Roosevelt had it right. Speak softly and carry a big stick. You don't need to go around. If you're confident in your point, in your message, in your whatever, then you don't need to go around yelling at everybody, proclaiming how great you are. So I don't even know how we got here anymore. Oh, right. We were talking about Asmongold and Twitch and all that stuff. So long story short, the internet ecosystem is awful right now. And let me tell you, as somebody who runs a site that has to operate actively in that algorithm ecosystem, it is a nightmare. It is the worst part of my job, my strategizing, my SEO battling. For those of you who, if any of my bounding team is watching right now, you guys don't know how much work goes into trying to like get us those right SEO hits so that we appear on Google and all that fun stuff. So it is what it is. We've been dealt a really, really crappy hand, as sort of always happens when things get really popular. But I don't know, guys. I don't know. I don't really have anything there. But let's keep on keeping on. Let's do something a little fun here. Oh yeah, and SEO gymnastics. I'm like good at them, but they annoy the hell out of me. If you guys ever see like a headline from Bounding that's like, oh, they put a lot, like, why did he have to say like Netflix is One Piece? That's all SEO baiting. Like, that's all just me trying to get the algorithm to look at us and not just automatically redirect everybody to like Game Rant or CBR or something like that. Yeah, I only post pics of me and wrestlers that I meet indie shows. Yeah, I don't even use my Instagram. Like, I have one. I occasionally post photos, but I'm not somebody who really feeds off of like getting my ego boosted. Obviously, I like it. Who doesn't like, getting complimented or attention every now and then? Anybody who says otherwise is either an introvert, which is fair, or they're a liar. But yeah, so like I have it. I occasionally share things, but it is very, very rare. Like when I share things, it's maybe like once every 16, 18 months. I want to I'm going to be brutally honest with everybody. I would like to use Instagram more. It actually is. I actually like that platform UI and its functionalities a lot. I don't personally like using Instagram because I know myself, and seeing everybody, I'm not at the highest point in my life. We all know that. Like, you guys have heard the Mav lore about, losing my job all those years ago, getting dumped, yada, yada, yada. So I'm not in the highest, happiest point, but it wouldn't help me at all to go onto Instagram and see everybody being happy, right? And yes, we all know that a lot of that is curated. They want to present that to you, but it's still like, it gets in my head. So that's why I stay off of it and I stick to Twitter. Because on Twitter, I can just get lots of anime and tokusatsu updates. Yeah, same here, Zero. Twitter is the only social media I actively do. I used to do all of the stuff back when I was younger, but now that I'm older, I don't care. So, before we move on to talking about actual new stuff, I just got this. We don't normally do this, but I just got a package in the mail literally right before we hopped on, and I figured, you guys want to see what I got? Because I'm pretty excited to show you what I got. And if you could see the packing tape here, it's pretty cool. It's the Boom Engers, the current Sentai team, because what I purchased is tokusatsu related. Yeah, Punk, that's mainly what I use it for, is chatting with like my friends, because they all use it and I know that I can get a hold of them. That's like my real life platform. Otherwise, yeah, I'm just hanging out on Twitter. So guys, you may ask, what did Mav buy? What bad decision did he make? Well, uh-oh. I need my mouse. Woo! If you guys have been hanging out, if you guys have caught any past streams, if you've followed me on Twitter, if you've just talked to me in the last couple weeks, you'll know that there's been a certain new product line being launched that I knew as soon as they announced it that they were going to get my ass. And, well, they did. Ta-da! I have successfully acquired the first 2 starter decks for the Ultraman card game, as well as a booster box. So, this gets to get added to all the other booster boxes I need to open. Like, let's see, where are they all? Woo, don't fall. Where are they all? Oh, screen down, send a medic. Oh, goodness. But yeah, like I've got Ultraman to open. I've got One Piece to open. I've got Fusion World to open. I've got Fusion World to open. Fusion World to open. Fusion World to open. I have a lot of card boxes, but no, I don't know who cares about what I'm about to say, but I have been spending the last few weeks finally getting around to properly organizing like my card collections, documenting things, putting them into lists. It's fun, but it also bums me out when I'm like, cool, I just got through this set of One Piece cards, and it's like 7 hours have passed, and I'm like, what did I do with my time? Oh my god. Yes, Shinkai, exactly. Mavs Booster Adventures. Hey, Ducks here saying, open them all right now. Make the stream interesting, please. Let me see the polls. I'm not going to do that here because we have way too much to do and I don't have the proper setup for it. But to sort of tease what I have in the works, you guys know that I've hinted at this for the last couple months, but I definitely think with the oncoming reboot of the Good Mav Ugly layout, I think I'm also going to, while I'm in that groove, right, I'm going to actually try to start a TCG stream, like probably a different day of the week, maybe Tuesdays before World Class Bullshitters or afters, who knows, but I play so much lately. We have simulators that we can play games, we can watch them here. I want to get a second camera, right, Duck, so that I can do actual like polls or whatever. So hold tight. I'll probably be opening the Ultraman ones on my own, but maybe I can hold tight and let the One Piece ones sit. But yeah, very cool little mail call for me there. I also I think, oh yeah, we talked about it last week, but I definitely, you all might be disappointed, but I also do have the Magic the Gathering Marvel cards. They're coming. They're getting delivered tomorrow. So I am very excited about that. I've been building a bunch of decks all week that are just gonna sweep. So if my buddies Al, David, Steven, if any of you guys are watching, get ready because I've got new tech. We're ready to go. All right. So first, let's see. What should we talk about at the top here? You know what? Because I made such a point of it, let's talk a little bit of MCU news. Now, let me pull this up. Oh boy. So, let me see real quick. Okay, cool. We are ready to go. I can zoom in a little bit, actually. But, didn't Dragon Ball Z have a new release today? Did you get it? I got it like 2 weeks ago. That was the where is it? Right here. Ultra Limit. Yeah. So this is the newest one. And then pre-orders just open for the next set. So that's going to be on its way in like the next couple months. But with that said, you guys don't want to hear me talk about my decks. You don't want to hear me talk about how much mana costs to pay this or what Dawn to do this. Let's talk about the MCU. I don't know if you guys heard this. This is D23 related, but Marvel fans rejoice. Shang-Chi just made his long-awaited return. So, guys, this is obviously facetious because if you've been here, if you know me, you know my thoughts on Simu Liu. I fucking hate the guy. Piece of Mavlore, because I don't know if I've told you guys this story. I know I've told like the 01 crew, the Bounding crew, the TPP crew, but a couple years ago, about, I would say maybe like a year or two after Shang-Chi came out, I think about a year, a couple of friends and me, we went to Vegas, right? So we're in Vegas, we're hanging out, obviously we're having a great time, we're drinking, we're walking around, we're doing whatever. At one point we're like, okay, do you guys want to go back to the hotel room real quick so we can like shower and then we can go get dinner or whatever? And we were all like, yeah, sure, let's do it. So we get back to the room, and while our friends are all sort of rotating and taking a shower, we sit down, we have more drinks, we have some beers, and we watch TV. And as we're flipping through the TV, one of my buddies lands on SNL. Because again, it's it's like, yes, it's like 10 or 11 and we're going to go get dinner, but that's Vegas, guys. If you haven't been there, time does not exist. So he's flipping TV and boom, SNL pops up with special fucking guest host Simu Liu. I understand that this makes me sound insufferable, and I probably was in the moment, but I love this story because I sound so cartoonishly sitcom. But as soon as he pops up, I just start like, I hate this guy. I hate this guy. And then like one of our other buddies who I don't really hang out with all that often, but he was there and he was like, oh, but I really like him. Like, why don't you like him? And I just like could not shut up about how much I didn't like him, to the point where my friend who was flipping the channels was like, all right. He grabbed the remote back and he's like, can't watch SNL. We're not doing that. If I don't change the channel, Spencer's going to like throw himself out the window. So how does that relate to this? Well, I want to throw myself out the window now, because if you guys didn't catch it, there is now a new trailer for What If Season 3. I guess I can probably just crack it open here, have it play in the background while we talk about this. Kill that. So yeah, we get a new season of What If. We've got a new trailer, and at multiple points, not multiple, but at least in 2 different scenarios you'll see in here, there's one, Shang-Chi is back. One of them is apparently like Avengers in the Old West, and the other one is Power Rangers Avengers, like Sentai Avengers, because they team up together and they get they like combine mecha. I think it's at like the very, very, very end of this trailer. But I'm so like, Andrew shared that story with me, right? He was like, oh boy, and he shared that story, and I was like, well, those are two episodes of What If I will never watch. And if he's in whatever season finale, I'm not watching that either. Like, I cannot stand Simu Liu. And yeah, see, here's their mecha attempt, which is genuinely not that tight. Also, the pilots just seem boring for this one. It's Sam, it's Monica Rambeau, Photon, it's Black Widow's mom, it's Shang-Chi, it's a couple other people, but like, this is sort of the MCU problem, right? Does anybody really want to read more about these characters? Everybody is going here like, okay, it's nice to see them, but where's Cap? Where's Spider-Man? Where's Hulk? Where's anybody with any amount of like star power? And not just like RDJ star power, but I mean like character star power. It just does not look great at all. And yeah, oh, okay, so Duck says, true, very racist of you. I still don't understand your story, how you don't like the Asian superhero. He's an ass. I can't stand Simu Liu. He thinks he's like the hottest shit on earth, and I just can't stand him. So yeah, like, I have not watched Shang-Chi to this day. I will probably be very, very unhappy when I go watch Avengers Doomsday and Secret War if he shows up. The Barbie movie, those like 5 minutes that he's in it are the worst parts of the movie. I don't even care if I sound like if I'm just being an ass or whatever, or not being a good critic. I just do not like the man. So yeah, the unfortunate news is we are getting another season of What If that is featuring, unfortunately, Shang-Chi, along with a bunch of other people that we will see here and there. So, couple points here. Yeah, Tehillim says, I really don't like the animation for this. Animation looks, and then Duck says, animation looks like the Star Wars one, pretty bad. I hate the animation in the What If series, okay? So what they did, there's a technique called rotoscoping, which is supposed to closer mimic, human facial expression, of course, in animation with the appropriate amount of details taken off and whatnot. They tried to do that here, but it all just feels very, honestly, this all feels like a Fortnite cutscene. The models don't feel good. They don't look great. Everything feels very amateurish. The lighting doesn't blend. The hairs are very stiff. It feels like, honestly, one of the best comparisons I can make to what this feels like is the what was it? Dead Fantasy or whatever. I forget what it was, but Monty Ohm's old stuff where he had like the Final Fantasy characters and everybody like battling really hard. First of all, great. Don't get me wrong. I love that stuff. I love Monty Ohm stuff, and the fight choreography on that was amazing. However, we can all be realistic and admit that because he was using, like ripped models and stuff, he didn't, put light engines in it. He didn't, redo all these textures. He kind of just worked with the assets he had. That's what it feels like. It feels like they just ripped a low poly Shang-Chi here, and I'm presuming Kate Bishop because it's purple and the eyes kind of look like Haley Steinfeld. She always does the smoky thing. So, yeah, like it feels like they ripped these out of not even Fortnite, because Fortnite makes everyone look good. This looks like they ripped it out of, I don't know, Future Fight or Strike Force, whatever one of those mobile games are. And then they're just like, yeah, we're good. Let's go. So, yeah, exactly, like the Telltale animated series. The word is racist, not ass. I mean, yeah, he's racist too. He's everything. He's just the worst person. And yeah, no, I'll take that as well. If I'm being an ass, I'll be racist specifically against Simu Liu. Yeah, it feels like video game animation, but like not good modern stylized like video game animation. It feels like old. If anybody ever played the Red 13 adaptation, the video game, it's really, really good, and it's cel shaded and it tries to imitate the comic book a lot. That's what this feels like, but with less effort into blending the style. Like, I think that's one of the worst things about this is that it exists in this uncanny valley of animation where everything is a little too detailed, but not enough detailed. So in the end, your brain starts going blah, 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 blah. And, yeah, exactly. It's not rotoscoping itself. It's the programs that do the 3D look. Yeah. Okay. You're right, Volume Dealer. Yeah. Oh, I miss Monty on art. So I never watched RWBY. I really didn't care about it. I really, really, really like the character of Yang, which like everything about her is like you tailor-made a waifu for Mav, right? She's like very energetic, almost like strong-headed, like dumb sometimes, like ditzy sometimes. She's strong. She's got punch powers. She's got long blonde hair. She's got the like Kamen Rider type scarf hanging on. She's got that cool bomber jacket. Like, I love Yang. Don't know anything about what that happens in the plot, but yeah. So I know that RWBY has fans, and I know you are one of them in particular, Andrew. I never really got into it. So the most I have with Monty is the Dead Fantasy stuff, and then when the hard turn when they put him on Red versus Blue, and they started doing like actual anime fight battles in Red versus Blue, and that to me is when the series officially starts like falling off a cliff, because they sort of get away from the fun sitcom-y parody sitcom situational aspect of it all into this like deep overarching plot that's also serious, and I'm like, it's not what I'm here for. It's not what I'm here for, right? Like, so yeah, I don't know that much about RWBY, but I think we can all admit the world is a worse off place without Monty. I would like to imagine that there's some world out there where Monty lived and he went on to get bigger contracts. I mean, Rooster Teeth is Warner Brothers, so maybe he gets tapped to help out on the Tomorrowverse, and maybe the Tomorrowverse doesn't look so bad, the DC animated one. Maybe he gets tapped to help out on Justice League Doom. No, that is one of them, Justice League Doom, but I meant Justice League Apocalypse War. Maybe they tap him to help out on Young Justice, something, and you guys can all just imagine it would have been amazing to just see all of that stuff. So, now, see, I don't think it's supposed to be a Norman Rockwell homage. I think this particular shot is sort of giving that with the coloring and the like the very soft sun. What they are really trying to do is they're trying to make you think it's a comic book. Go away. Why did I like land on him? They want to evoke the imagery of the comic books, but they go too realistic, and they don't lean into, because they go too realistic. Like, so for those of you who don't know, I have to take a step back here. When it comes to animation doesn't always occur as if a real person was doing it, right? One of my favorite examples is you can go find lots of different like 3D models, like there's a video game or something where somebody's like pointing at the cover and they're like, yeah. And you go and the artist will come and say like, here's how I actually, made that pose. And the model's arm is like 4,000, meters long because that's how they needed to get that perspective look. Animation and art and stuff like that, you're allowed to, if you're not being hyper serious, if you're being stylized, you can take corners like that and let the human brain help fill in what's happening, right? So if there's for example, let's take a simple action of somebody getting punched. If you just have 1 frame, 2 frame, 3 frame, it's going to feel unnatural in animation because your mind's going to go, that was the real movement, but it's not like, what is going on here? However, imagine if you had 1 frame, this frame isn't straight, but the arm is blurred. Maybe my face is washed out a little bit. The enemy's head who's getting hit here is all like dash lines. And then we have the 3rd frame. With so they call those smear frames. In the smear frames, what that does is it gives you this sort of connection between the frames that sort of summarizes what is happening in that action. And what that does to the human brain is it signals, this is what's happening. So your brain can click and go, oh, he's punching him really hard. Even though all they're looking at is this frame of smudge, your brain is recognizing like, yes, it's supposed to be him getting hit. So it fills it in for you, and your mind helping to make the story work for you. Like, that is a element that really, really helps sell any given project. If you can sort of get the audience member on board and invested enough in your world, your setting, your story to be able to follow those inferences and not worry about them. But they don't do that in What If. In What If, again, we talk about this a lot. The West is afraid of childish things. They don't want an animated series here. They want, oh, look, isn't this respectable? Don't worry, John, office worker, you're not going to get made fun of because you watched a cartoon. This is prestige or whatever. And it's just, it does not work. And some 3D animation can work when they use smear frames and stuff, but this doesn't. What If has never worked. From the jump, I never liked What If. Let's see. Oh, they said this in something about the Norman Rockwell style. I haven't read that. If that's true, if you got a link, that'd be awesome. I would love to read that. But yeah, I haven't read the Norman Rockwell stuff, and I don't see that homage in the style. I see it in the lighting, right? The soft glow, warm lighting that Norman Rockwell paintings have, because they're supposed to give you this sense of like peace and just like twilight. So let me know about that. And then, yeah, Duck is right here. Let's put this to rest. No one is watching these shows because all the smart people are boycotting Disney+. We the people have to cancel the subscriber movement for everything. Ownership greater than rental subscribers lease. 1,000%. Like I don't have any subscriptions, right? Well, I technically have Prime because I subscribe to Amazon Prime for the 2-day delivery and all that, like those services. So I have Prime. I don't use streaming services. I make my own library, right? I rip my own stuff because I want to make sure I own that shit. And like it's just, you don't own it unless you physically can have it in your hand. And even then, we know this. I know Zero's probably going to pop in with a factoid about this. But even then, like a lot of modern video games, they don't come on the disc. Like you get your disc, you get your cartridge, and you immediately have to go to the, hop online and download a patch, download the rest of the game. It's absurd. So no, Duck is completely right. Yes, I don't care if I get, dinged here by YouTube, but I'm a full advocate for piracy, right? Pirate the things you want to check out. If you like them, then go out and support it. Go buy a physical copy. For music in particular, musicians don't get the biggest cut of that album sale. So if you download the album, go to a show, buy a ticket, buy a shirt, buy a vinyl, instead of, going to iTunes and giving 80% of that, $1 sale to not Columbia, like Sony or Warner. I want to make sure I make this clear in my principles. When I start producing stuff, like if I have things behind a paywall eventually on a Patreon, if I start making comics, I am fully okay with some people going out and pirating my stuff, because it's not going to, there's nothing I will ever be able to do to stop it. If somebody wants to pirate it, if somebody wants to share it, they will find a way. 2, it's a very good exposure. It will at least get the product in front of people, and maybe, just maybe, if I'm lucky enough, one of them will convert into a sale I wouldn't have had before, right? Because a lot of companies like to frame it as, oh, if he can't, oh God, I totally just blanked, whatever. Oh, yeah, thank you, Duck. A lot of companies like to think like, oh, if somebody had a pirated copy of like What If Season 3, that means we're losing out somebody who would have actually watched Season 3 with ads and made an account. And it's like, no, you don't understand. If they didn't have the pirated copy, they probably just wouldn't check it out. Like, there are some people, of course, who are like, I want to check this out, I'll pirate it. I'm one of those people. But a lot of people are going to go, I'll pirate it. And if they go, oh, there's no pirating available, they're not going to go, ah, darn, I wanted to watch that bad enough to go sign up for Disney Plus. They're going to go, I'll wait for it to leak, right? So Punk says it sucks that DVDs are dying. Actually, my friend, I have good news for you. DVDs are dying, but it's simply a shift away from the format. Blu-rays are doing better than ever. Physical media right now, guys, to Duck's point, yeah, exactly. Hell yeah. I'm the biggest e-mule. Like I have friends who have access to my personal my media server, and they're like, hey, I gotta watch this movie. My wife and I want to watch this movie. Can you hook us up? And I'm like, give me like 3 seconds, I'll download it. I got it for you. Pardon me. But physical media nowadays, more than ever, is making not just a comeback. It's like it's significant. It's a significant industry again. Vinyl records, CDs, Blu-rays, physical games, actual comic books, especially with the advent of our favorite, the compact editions. All of this stuff, people do want ownership, and people do see all the shenanigans. And I think it's not going to die anytime soon. I would actually place my money on the fact that we're seeing sort of a mini physical media renaissance, which is good for everybody. And hold on. Yes, I prefer physical media as well. I think we all do. I think that's what Duck is saying. But this is what I laughed at. Pirate content when you're teenagers, when you have no money. Then when you're older, you pay for nostalgia. I mean, yeah, that's technically what it is, but I just love the way you laid that out. But yeah, so this sucks. I'm not excited about it. I feel like I'm going to probably not watch like half of this season. I mean, I don't want to, but because of my job, I have to. So I don't know. Who cares? My main complaint, here's the main thing I want to say about What If, because I don't know if we'll ever talk about it again. I mean, we probably will when it comes out and I discover whatever nonsense is in it. But the thing I hate about What If, especially in the modern sense, is that what the thing of the what do you want to call it? The point of What If stories back in the day, right? They were supposed to be, what happens if a different decision, like here's a pivotal event, what if it plays out not in the way you see it, right? So it's like, what if Peter kept the black suit instead of getting rid of it? What if Captain America didn't fall into the ice and lived normally? What if Tony didn't make it back from the cave? It's things like that, so that you can see a literal, like, because that's the point. That's the question, right? Like, what if that happened? Nowadays, they just go, it's no longer like saying, here's the other side of that coin on this story. They're just going, what if the Avengers were cowboys? What if the Avengers were Power Rangers? What if the Avengers were da 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 da. And that's not what if. That's just fan fiction. The insulting part is there are ways you can make this all work. What if the Avengers formed in the Old West? What if what if US Kaiju went like rogue? You can do things like that to make it play in, but they don't try. That Marvel just goes, what's a different scenario? And somebody goes, I've never seen Ben Reilly ordering Chinese takeout. And then it's like, what if Ben was hungry? And like, that's an issue they make. So what if makes me angry, just through to my core, through and through. Punk says okay, this is a fair point. It really sucks that DVD rental places are disappearing. That's true. They are lesser and lesser still. I don't really have a counter to that. I don't know enough about the current rental culture. Like, I don't know what services are out there. I know Netflix, I think they ended their DVD service like last year, or their Blu-ray DVD service. So I don't know what exists there. I get how it sucks, but I also think that if we're talking about renting, there's no point in renting a physical copy. I think if I was like renting a movie, I'm okay getting it digital because it's not like I would hold on to that physical copy anyway. So I think I'm okay with it there. Yeah, I'll just grab it digitally, and then if I want it, like Duck said, if I want to pay for the nostalgia, I will go grab it on physical. So that's about all I really wanted to talk about with What If. While we are here, you can obviously tell that our stream buddy for tonight is another Jubilee. In case you guys aren't watching Foil Variant, Thursday night, 6 p.m., me and Andrew talking intellectually honest comic book talk. If you're not watching our show over there, look under the details. What are you talking about, Volume Dealer? It says look under the details. Oh, did you send me something somewhere? Am I sent something? Did you message me? Oh, nope, I don't know where it is. So yeah, let me know what you're talking about, Volume Dealer, and we'll get back to it. But no, don't be sorry. I don't know what you mean. Like I don't know what details you're talking about. So I'm just like, hey, let me know specifically, and I'll get into it. XDMs, cool, perfect. There we go. Let me go look at them over there. Volume Dealer, why did you have to make another new account? Because now it's asking me to accept you again, and I'm like, I feel like you and I go through this dance like every 4 months. All right, let's see. Oh yeah, check that out. I'll take that L. Volume's got me, but here he's right. Okay, yeah. So you did have to make a new one. Okay. I'll send you a friend request in a second. But yeah, so as Volume Dealer was saying, discover how the show's look was influenced and inspired by classic art from the likes of Norman Rockwell. Witness how filmmaking techniques normally reserved for live action were applied to animation in What If, imbuing it with an impressive cinematic quality. This is literally the shit I was just talking about. They don't want cartoons. They need to give you something that's cinema so that you don't get laughed at the water. Like, fuck this shit. I hate... I'm probably speaking on a sentiment that all of us feel, but it's like, we grew up, the fans of this shit, we accept that, like, we read a comic book, we read a video game, we read, we watch a show. We understand that, maybe it's not as high a quality, maybe it's not as realistic as something, but because we are earnestly engaging with it and we're, like, giving it a chance by suspending our disbelief, we accept it. We love it for that. Kamen Rider, of all things, is shot for like $5 and a ham sandwich an entire season. And yet that thing is one of the most popular brands across the world. People don't need, like anytime somebody says like, oh, we're here to elevate this medium, whether it's comic books, video, like Tom King does that shit with comic books, what's that company? Like Insomniac Games does it with video games. Anytime anybody's like, oh, we're trying to elevate the medium, we're trying to take it into, change your idea of what the medium is. That to me voices insecurity. And if you're insecure in this shit, then that signals to me that you didn't earnestly engage with any of this. That when you signal to me that you care that deeply about what other people are thinking about your work, it makes me realize you probably compromised what you did in the work to appeal to other people, whether that be some, virtue signaling writing or some really dumb character change, whatever it is, right? Like this, if somebody comes out and they're like, oh man, I love how low budget tokusatsu is, we wanted to do our own thing with it. Yeah, we it does look a little bit better, but that's not, we're not trying to improve it, or like, we're not trying to say the old one's bad. We just have more money to do it, right? Like something like an attitude like that sounds great. That to me is like, all right, you like this, but you're also like, you got money, sure. This kind of stuff, it's like filmmaking techniques normally reserved for live action. You know why they're reserved for live action? Because they work specifically in live action. It's two different damn mediums. It's sort of the difference between like Greg Land art, which is very obviously, it's because he traces it and it comes from real life, but that sort of proves my point. Greg Land art all feels stiff. It looks like it might be a real person because it's from a photo, but all of Greg Land's art looks stiff because he's trying to take a real life thing and duplicate it in a comic book style that doesn't necessarily work with it. Of course, you could draw that same face. Like we know artists are capable of doing hyper photorealistic works, but that's not what he doesn't go for that. So it ends up feeling weird and very static on the page. Now you go for something like, and if Nerdigans is listening, she's gonna like be really mad at me. But Dandadan, right? Like, and I'm talking like the manga. You go to something like Dandadan, and the exaggerated movements, all the smears, all the swipes, all of that stuff, that works there, and like that is because it's made for that medium. It's just a bummer. This is. The people who work at Marvel do not like the things that they work on. Let's just put it that way. Well, to be fair, one of my favorite animals is Vampire Hunter D. Animes is Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust. It's pretty surreal. I love Vampire Hunter D. I don't ever remake that, guys. Just keep giving us. I want like a 35 millimeter print release of that because that would be absolutely gorgeous. So, before we got sidetracked on this awful discovery, courtesy of our boy Volume Dealer, as I was explaining, if you haven't been checking us out on Foil Variant on Thursday nights, 6 p.m. CST, Andrew and I, comic book talk, but Uncanny X-Men by freaking Gail Simone is one of the, if not the best books being written right now. We are 5 issues in, and every single one of them has just been straight fire. So in the last issue, we finally got sort of the first big team fight, and of course my girl Jubilee finally got to unleash her powers. So always happy to see her. I know where was he? I saw you up there. Hold on. Did we scroll that far? No, I know he was here. Did I already highlight it? Did I already laugh at it? Did he delete it? No. Oh, there he is. Yeah. Reeve, my boy, is here, but yeah, you'd call me out on Jubilee, but I'm just happy to see her. I like Jubilee. That's the waifu. Even if the OTP is her and Robin, her and Tim Drake, which is actually that is my like favorite ship pairing, if you will, is them from the DC versus Marvel like crossover event back in the 90s. They were so cute. They had the best chemistry. Look at that. Got a couple differing opinions. Not a fan of Dandadan. Not my thing. I love Dandadan. Shinkai says Dandadan randomness makes me remember how fun XX Hall was, but more extreme than that. Oh, absolutely. Punk says I tried to watch anime, but I always lose interest very quickly. Shut up, Volume Dealer. All I did was bring the recipes. No, you brought the food into my house and you said you need to try it, and I said, oh, now I have food poisoning. I actually love that though. Just on the quick topic of Dandadan, obviously Reeve likes it, Shinkai likes it, Timon doesn't, which is fine. Not everything is for everybody, and I can tell from Timon here, he did give it a fair shot, and it's just not for him. Totally cool, nothing wrong with that. I really, really like Dan to Dan because I've talked about this briefly before, but I really like all of these sort of esoteria in life. Like I like, cryptids and aliens and UFOs, and I constantly wonder, like, what's out there, like, what are the things we don't see? Obviously, I read comic books, so just all of that stuff, it just expands my brain. It gets me to thinking. So I love aliens. I love the occult. I love all of that stuff. So I like the premise of both of the main characters being into one or the other respectively, but I also love the conflict of, like, I believe this, you don't. I believe this, you don't. Well, I'm going to go prove you wrong or whatever. And they go to the different places. And then, so I love that base concept. And then, of course, because they keep fighting aliens, they keep fighting the occult, I'm all about that. I'm all about the action. It's just a very solid shonen that doesn't feel, at least yet, like we're getting the big old casted characters like the Z Fighters or the Naruto teams or the Straw Hats or anything, which is kind of nice. It kind of keeps it very centralized. So, yeah, exactly. There you go. Oh, that's another word I should have been using. Paranormal. I always default to, like, ghosts and spooky stuff, but that's yeah, that's the actual word. Oh, that's what all I did was bring receipts. Still, same thing. You didn't just bring the receipts. You sat down and you said, "Look at this receipt." And yeah, I can totally get that. The comedy style doesn't vibe with me. There are moments when I like it, the comedy. There are other moments where I'm like, you're kind of interrupting the flow of the episode. So that is to say, your criticism is completely valid, and I hear it. My favorite ship is the X-302, the Prometheus. Too bad that ship crashed and it couldn't get off the planet. You need better taste in ships. All right, so let's see. All right. What do we want to talk about next? Because I guess let's just talk about them real quick, because I asked you guys at the very top of the show if we should talk about them. So let's do all right. So let's jump over. Oh, I'm already in my browser window. I just need to put this in the one that is being looked at up here. YouTube. All right. So this is sort of what I was asking about a little earlier. Last weekend was D23 Brazil, and as always, Disney showed up with a bunch of preview material for a bunch of stuff, including, Marvel Rivals, the MCU, Disney stuff coming up, all that fun stuff, yada 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 yada. Reeve, but I'm just a man. Oh no, wait, you're saying Turbo Granny. Oh yeah, never mind. I thought you were talking about Ayasa's Granny, and I'm like, how can I stay away from her? More like the universe realized the X-302 was bad, and it was like, I need to protect it, or like the inhabitants of the universe, and get rid of it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you. But so, as part of Disney showing up this last weekend, we got one trailer for Captain America Brave New World, and then like an extended trailer for Thunderbolts, because it's like 7 minutes long, but it's not a clip, because it's edited like a trailer. So, pardon me. We'll start with we'll start with Brave New World, then we'll go into Thunderbolts. Quick note. Frickin' Punk here says the second season of Arcane has been good so far. Yeah, I heard that from my boy Dylan. Shout out to Dylan. Go check out me, him, Andrew over on Merry Mayhem streams on Saturday nights. But yeah, Dylan told me it was really good. My sister has been really enjoying it. I have not watched Arcane. I just never hit play. I also know nothing about League of Legends. I know a couple characters. I know the ones that I like. I like Caitlyn. That's about all I know. So to that end, I'm really, really, really stoked for everybody who is an Arcane fan who's getting to enjoy this, because you guys deserve it. I really have nothing to say on it, good, bad, or mab otherwise. So yes, this Captain America Brave New World trailer, I'm sure by now all of us have heard it. Whoops. that sound editing is going to like throw us off because they're whispering the entire time. But oh, really, Reeve? Wow, you're the first person I've heard who said I didn't like season 1, so I won't be watching season 2. That's nuts. And again, only nuts because you're the first person I've ever heard say that. So basically, in this new trailer for Captain America: Brave New World, we get a better look at what the plot is, and it is Isaiah Bradley, who you guys might know. He was in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. He is a comic book character. He was the first Captain America, but basically in World War II, the government used black soldiers to experiment on because at the time, they had lesser rights. They weren't seen as equals. So they experimented on them with the early version of the super soldier serum. And so he became Captain America, but because it was busted, it caused him to sort of degrade mentally very, very fast. So the big difference between the movie version and the comic book version of Elijah is that in the comic books, he's basically, got the mental capacity of a child. And in the MCU, he's very much just a regular guy again. But so, yeah, we get not a lot. I mean, you guys have been seeing, we got a lot of shots of Sam in his costume. We see that Joaquin Torres is the Phoenix again. We get, generic sort of, I don't know, action scenes. Like, there's nothing exciting about this trailer. I'm not even bringing this up or letting the trailer play because I'm excited about it. I'm letting this play so that you guys can, if you haven't seen it, you can sort of know what we're talking about. If you have seen it, it will remind you of what I'm going to touch on. But genuinely, this movie doesn't feel like anything close to a winner. I mean, we already knew that this movie was probably going to be bad because it's a post-Endgame era MCU film. We also know that it's gone through several rewrites, billions or $500,000 worth of reshoots. It just wrapped up another round of reshoots this week. They are constantly they are constantly trying to rework this film. If you guys read the spoilers, they are on Reddit. I don't have the link on hand, but basically the movie involves Sidewinder, who is Giancarlo Esposito. He wants to get his hands on some adamantium, which apparently was mined from the giant hand of Tiamat that is sticking out of the planet after Eternals. In doing so, he has this device or this app that will brainwash people into doing whatever he wants. So they look at their screen, they get Manchurian Candidate activated, and they go and do whatever he wants. So that eventually leads to conflict, obviously, because Sam is trying to stop an international incident because everybody wants the adamantium, and it all culminates in a fight against Red Hulk, who gets hit by the electronic signal from Giancarlo, hulks out, gets beaten by Sam. According to the leaks, the movie ends with the president in jail and Sam being like, "Thank you for taking responsibility for your crimes, Mr. President." Just very heavy-handed, "Oh yeah, did you get what we were doing there? We were talking about Trump." And it's shut the hell up. So the main things I wanted to point out about this trailer are, one, this shit is dumb here. So there's this shot right here where Sam drops out of orbit and lands, and then a shockwave comes. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I need you to remember, I haven't forgotten, Sam doesn't have the super soldier serum. His legs, the second he hits, his shin bones should go right into his eyeballs. This man doesn't survive this. It's not even like he's falling out of the sky or gliding down, which we would all be like, okay, that makes sense. He is literally boom, 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 and then hits. So it boggles my mind that they're trying to do that. And they do that several times. They, put Sam in these situations where you would think he would have the super soldier serum from what he shrugs off. Where is the one? Is it right here? At one point, I think, yeah, see, he will turn himself in the next shot, he turns himself into a missile and tanks it, which is like, yes, that's what the shield can do. It won't break and it'll absorb some kinetic force, but you're still going to get pushed down. You still run up against the solid object that is a missile. You're not just going to coast through it. So it feels like they're going, just do cool things with them. I don't care how you get there. I don't know what it is. Just get there. And honestly, it's not even that cool. But so to that point, is it at the end of this trailer? There's Hulk. It looks completely awful. Like, this somehow looks worse than the Edward Norton Hulk. I genuinely couldn't tell you what the hell happened here. Ruffalo's Hulk in Avengers 1 looks more believable than whatever I am seeing here. It is absolutely embarrassing. But if you guys have seen the poster for this film, it is also in the I believe it's in the last trailer. It's like the last scene of it. But there's a shot where Sam tanks a direct hit from Red Hulk with the shield. He just stands there, tanks it, shrugs it off. As a comic book dork, I need to make it clear to everybody at Marvel that is not the Cap's shield is a vibranium adamantium alloy that is one of a kind, unique in its own signature, like to the point where even Thor is like in the comics back in the 60s, he's like, there's nothing like this in all of the realms. So with those special metal qualities, it's indestructible, or practically so, and it can absorb a certain amount of, kinetic force, but it won't stop all of it, as evidenced by this shot here from a Captain America comic in the 90s, where after he's literally blocking Hulk's punch, but instead of, being left standing there after Hulk hits him, he flies because there's still kinetic energy being applied to it. Cap isn't immobile when the shield comes up. So realistically, again, with Sam not having the super soldier serum, when Hulk hits him, he should be a mist. He should just be a bloody red mess just in an instant. So I don't know, man. This movie does feel cooked. I don't know who's interested in it. That trailer looks really, really, really bad. If you guys go watch it on your own in full, it's really awful. Yep, that's exactly who it is, Volume Dealer. It is Dale Keown's Hulk. And then, Professor Hulk. I wish this was a Peach Momoko Hulk, but unfortunately it's not. And yes, this is from a two-parter written by David that goes in Hulk and it goes in Captain America. See, like, superhero landing. Also, I've seen delayed sword cut, but a delayed shockwave? I don't know enough about science and air physics to say it's not possible, but I feel like that's not how it works. Like, when you break the sound barrier, that's where I don't know. Like, I'm not going to get into it because I'm not Mr. Science Man. I'm Mr. Writing and Arts Man. So I'll go do some research. We'll talk about it next week. But the main thing I really wanted to talk, the main reason I brought up Brave New World here is that when I was watching this trailer, I had a realization that, we know Marvel is cooked right now. We know they're desperate and they're flailing and they're looking for any sort of sense of direction. This movie is a peach as in pink Hulk, not red Hulk. I'll chalk that up to the lighting because it's very bright out. I'll chalk that up to the lighting. He's not Virgil but with jump shockwaves. I'm so happy you're enjoying Devil May Cry, by the way. Number 5. Like, I've been watching all your streams even if I'm not talking. I love that game and I'm glad you're having fun with it too. I don't know why they're going with swapping villains for this, because that's sort of what I'm getting at. They are very, very, very desperate for anything. They want this. They just, whether it's a breakout character that people go, oh, at least I like them, or maybe they get lucky and they make a movie. They just need something that will, in their minds, get them more box office profit. And to that point, so what I was saying is, when I was watching this trailer, I realized that this movie is basically just Winter Soldier. to the sense that Marvel probably just went, everybody liked Winter Soldier, do it again. So, for example, you have a Cap, right? Sam or Steve, who goes to meet with a higher up member of the U.S. government, Fury for Evans and President Ross for Sam. During their meeting, the best friend, right-hand man of Captain America, under brainwashing, attempts to assassinate that leader. Winter Soldier Bucky tried to kill Fury. In this, it is Elijah Bradley tries to kill Ross. As a result of that, they go out and try to get to the bottom of it. In doing so, discovering that there is a big criminal organization that's existed before, but hasn't been seen until now, who's sort of running the puppet strings of everything. So you also have the main conflict item being another sort of weapon or what am I trying to superhero catalyst. In Winter Soldier and all that, they wanted to get more info on the Winter Soldier program. They wanted to duplicate all of that. Here, they want the vibranium. They want to be able to duplicate all that. All of this heads to a climax where, or all of this results in Captain America having to go on the run on his own with only a Falcon and a female super spy as their allies. For Chris Evans, that was obviously Anthony Mackie's Sam and Black Widow. For Sam, it's going to be the Joaquin Torres Green Falcon and Sabra, who was supposed to be the Jewish superhero, but now I think is just like a regular Black Widow. So those are his only two allies in the fight. Eventually, he goes to have a one-on-one battle with somebody who, outclasses him in a sense, and that's because Bucky has the metal arm and is willing to kill, and here it's Red Hulk. All in all, it ends with sort of the mind, just like, and that's how it resolves, and that's how it ends, with a big fight. So you know who the real villain is, right? In Brave New World? I mean, according to the leaks, it was Giancarlo with the mind altering thing. I don't know what you're talking about. So hit me, volume dealer. Reeve asks, so was there any real point to Falcon and the Winter Soldier? I never watched it. There is, but not a lot of one. Oh no, hold on, Reeve. Sorry. I don't know why I just blanked on that, volume dealer. Yes, the leader is the villain. That also reminds me that according to the leaks, they didn't even make him green. He just has a big skull cap on, so he just looks like he has a big old conehead forehead. They completely screwed that up. Is he in this trailer? Is he actually the leader, or is it just Tim Roth as sitting around somewhere? Is that him? That's probably him, huh? That's probably Tim Roth. I would assume, considering he's in the shadows. But back to Reeves' point. Oh yeah, no, Timon. It's going to be lame. They show his hand as green. Oh man, where is it? Is it early on? Is it later on? I didn't catch that during my first initial watches, because I was just like, oh, that's bad. Okay, so that is him, and then you said his hand is green somewhere. Let's see. Got this and I gotta tell you guys, back on the Red Hulk bit a little bit, I'm so tired of superhero CG. It's not good anymore. It's also so very, 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 very fake and plastic. It doesn't feel fun to watch anymore. Mackie, Soldier, Shield, Sabra, throws the shield. Tiamat hand. Where'd Elijah go? Giancarlo. Shoo. Sabra doing a widow takedown. Ross hulking out. All right, we Hulk out. I work out. Let's see, Brave New World. Yeah, and then we get this stupid scene here where he cuts the car in half. Is it like... Yeah, I'm not seeing... Is it in a different trailer? Because they've got like 2 at this point. Because I'm not seeing the green hand anywhere. Unless... Because you said you were watching Emergency Awesome. Unless they probably... You know what they probably did? In that shot here of this guy, I bet you they like turned up the tint or whatever. And when you turn up the brightness, you'll be able to see that very, very faint color. Because that happens to me sometimes too, like when I'm taking screenshots for stuff. But okay, so it was the clip. It was the phone clip. Yeah, like this one right here. I have no idea, but I believe you. Let's just say I believe you. That it's still, yeah, but like Timon and I were lamenting, he's not gonna look like the leader. He's gonna look yeah, right here. So yeah, they probably just like turned his like the brightness up a lot, and you could see the hand was green. So back to Reeves' point. So was there any real point to Falcon and the Winter Soldier? I never watched it. There wasn't. So in theory, there was a point to it. In theory, the show was to introduce, like Sam Cap and U.S. Agent. In execution, it didn't do anything because, as you guys know, having watched like Multiverse of Madness or The Marvels, when Marvel makes a TV show, I don't know what the hell is up with them, but they like make it and then they decide, we're going to abandon like most of what we were talking about in that series. So, and I mean that in like, look at the continuity senses, look at like anytime a movie comes out, they immediately undo like anything we were talking about before. The most egregious example of that is, dang, what I was just thinking about this earlier today. Deadpool and Wolverine, where Loki season 2, which was just like at the tail end of last year, ends with Loki, like, I am the multiverse now. I'm planting myself as the tree. What is this going to be? And then in Deadpool and Wolverine, we find out, the multiverse is dying and we got to clean it up. And it's like, okay, so none of that mattered. So like the point, they wanted this to be like, now you know Sam's story. Now you're on board with Sam, but it's written so poorly. And like the political angles, it's clearly written by, it's like that. Okay. The show feels like it wants to be a political thriller written by people who don't know politics or how to write a thriller. So all the dialogue comes across very like lecture-y, very corporate, that's where that infamous line comes from of do better, Senator, because there's the whole conflict of the show, which genuinely could have been interesting if you had a writer who understood how politics work and geopolitics. You had the in the beginning, because it's post Endgame, the plot is that when everybody came back, the world is sort of in crisis right now with sort of how to handle them. It's I'm not doing any political terminology or linking here, just using the base definition. The Earth has a refugee crisis because, people moved on with their lives in those 7 years. Maybe they got married. Maybe their homes got demolished. Maybe their country got taken over by another country and now their government, like things like that. So in the wake of that, you have the government trying to figure out the situation, but the flag smashers don't think they're doing enough. So they start being terrorists and, like raiding the aid trucks for supplies and all that sort of stuff. And so at the very end of the show, Captain America or Cap Sam goes up to like one of the senators of the United States and he's like, what you were doing to these people? Like they were refugees. You should have gotten a handle on them or whatever. And he's trying to explain like, what am I supposed to do? Like, we don't know how to deal with like people coming back from the dead. And he's like, what do I do? And Sam just says, do better. And like, if that's not an encapsulation of sort of that entire mentality where it's like, okay, you think I have a problem. What should I do? oh, you don't have a solution. You just wanted a reason to like harangue me. You just wanted the moral superiority. So all in all, the show didn't do anything. Literally none of the Disney television shows matter. There's not a single thing in any of them that is absolutely pivotal to understanding the MCU. Like maybe WandaVision. Maybe, because that introduces Wanda's kids for Multiverse of Madness. Everything else, skip. I mean, okay, so you know how I was just saying there, like they did Loki and then immediately like, oh, Loki's the multiverse. And then they immediately said, oh, the multiverse is dying. Well, like they do the same thing. You got your one season of Moon Knight, right? And then in Deadpool and Wolverine, they're like, here's the ice cream truck from Moon Knight. Clearly that thing is done. That's back in the void. And it's like, oh, cool. Well, you guys have no planning going on here. Yeah, so volume deal, yeah, exactly. To introduce John Walker and make Falcon Cap. And that's what that's what I want to like whoops, wrong message from Volume Dealer. That's sort of I didn't like Falcon and the Winter Soldier at all. It was a slog. It made me like embarrassed to be watching it, but I really liked the character of John Walker, which is ironic and sort of a testament to how bad these writers are, is that he's not supposed to be framed as the good guy. He's supposed to be framed as the guy who sort of gets a big ego ahead of himself and doesn't really understand what being Captain America is. But he was a more compelling, grounded, real character who I was rooting for him. Like, yes, he starts out abrasive, but I'm like, okay, let's see him learn. Like, let's see him evolve. Like, I'm invested in John. I didn't give a shit about Bucky. I didn't give a shit about Sam. But John Walker was like a really fun character, which sort of which leads into our second piece that we'll watch here as soon as I get done talking to you guys, which is Thunderbolts, because that's where John shows up next. Yeah, John was unhinged in the comics. Like his comic they didn't go hard enough in the MCU version of him, but I think that ends up making him the sympathetic. I don't know. I've always been a fan of U.S. Agent. I know he's unhinged, but like it's sort of like an understandable unhinged, even though like I don't endorse it or condone it, but it's like you're not just a random psychopath, right? So and there's tragedy in that. There's a potential for like character growth. I mean, even in recent comics, right? U.S. Agent was, insane back in the day, but they eventually gave him, like Cap gave him another chance, let him on the West Coast Avengers. Nowadays, he recognizes, like, I need to get a handle on myself more. So while he deploys on agencies like the Thunderbolts or whatever, he is trying to be more of a leader, even though he is still a little bit unhinged. So, like, there's compelling storylines, drama to John's character. In Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Sam's entire plot line was, I can't get a bank loan. And I'm not even joking. There was a plot line where his sister's fishing boat back in like New Orleans is being threatened with repossession because she can't make the payments. So he goes to get a loan, and when he goes to the bank, it's a very ham-fisted, heavy-handed, like, black people get denied services metaphor. But it doesn't work because he's a fucking Avenger who just saved the universe. At the very least, he knows Tony Stark or like Pepper. So he could say, hey guys, I'm a goddamn Avenger. Can somebody help me out here? And also you're going to tell me that a bank wouldn't leap at the chance to give like an Avenger a loan and then be like, look, the Bank of Captain America. Like it's so awful. It's so awful. Yeah. I was just going to say, and then yeah, he killed that one dude, but it was more manic in the comics. Yeah, they definitely toned him down, and it's unfortunate because yeah, if you're like me, Volume Dealer, you probably wanted to see a little bit more of the unhinged Walker. Like that scene though, where he like kills the guy by just like smashing him in half with the shield. It's pretty damn good. I like that scene. It's a good cliff ending tension type thing, but they don't lean too much into it, and now they turn him. Then they just say like bye, see ya. So yeah, to freaking Punk's point, I gave Falcon Winter Soldier a try, but after 2 episodes, I stopped watching it. Here's the thing, guys. I probably wouldn't have watched any of these, except for maybe WandaVision, if this wasn't my job. I probably wouldn't have watched the last like few MCU films if this wasn't my job. I have a duty to you guys as a reporter to be honest, to be intellectually honest, factually honest, and I can't rail against or properly tell you why a movie is bad if I don't see it for myself, right? So unfortunately, I end up seeing way more bad stuff these days than I do see good stuff. Let's see. Reeve says, so how do you think they're going to explain the Tiamat hand being there yet no one ever noticed it? I don't even know, man. I feel like they're just going to wave it over in the beginning. Like, it's been 8 months since the hand came out. And it's like, well, we've had a lot of events since then. Like, we had No Way Home. We had The Marvels. We had, pardon me, Shang-Chi. Like, there's a lot of stuff we got to address. I genuinely can't even speculate, Reeve, because they've written themselves into such a corner that all they can do at this point is, yeah, like a really quick hand wave with a report or something. Oh yeah. The most embarrassing part of that show was the final fight between Sam and the flag smasher leader. I don't even remember her name or the actress, but yeah, no, it was just. There were lots of things that were embarrassing about this show. One of the ones that I will never get over is, like, I will give Falcon and the Winter Soldier this. I think it probably feels the most like the MCU is alive since, like, Infinity War Endgame. Because, like, they encounter, Falcon or Cap and Bucky, they go and they encounter, like oh damn, I'm blanking so hard now. Why am I blanking so hard? They go and they hang out with or like they fight a bunch of Dora Milaje, right? At one point they go hang out with Sharon Carter and Zemo. Like it felt like things were going on and the world was moving around them and stuff like that. So I'll give them that. But I bring up that compliment because there's a scene that I will never get over where let me see. This shit makes me so mad. So obviously if you guys saw Civil War, we know what's his name, like Max Brund or something. I really like the actor who does Zemo, so I wish I could remember off the top of my head so I could compliment him properly. But if you guys remember, when we got Zemo in Civil War, he never put on his mask, and obviously fans wanted to see that. So in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, he does. But it's like this. So Bucky, Sam, and Sharon Carter are currently being pursued in Madripoor by a bunch of enemies. Zemo is like, I'll go help you. He goes up there, puts on his mask, blows up this pipeline, and then, like, he does this quick action scene, and then he just takes it off. It's also not like a good action scene. It's not filmed very well. Like that's it. The next shot of him is him taking it off, and he never puts it on again. And it like that just infuriates me. Just like, you knew we wanted it, but you couldn't even just like give it to us. Why would you even put it in there in the first place? There's no, because now I'm questioning the logic of like, so why does Zemo put on a mask to kill a bunch of people who, like, they're gonna die? What the fuck? Like, what are we doing here? How are they going to get answers about that? There isn't any connection with S.H.I.E.L.D. and any of the Eternals. I just chalk that up to, I mean, if an island appeared in the middle of nowhere tomorrow, all the world governments would send like surveys and drones and whatever to check it out. So that's what Tiamat's hand is a big place. Never watched the Captain Marvel movies. I like Carol Danvers as Miss Marvel. Hey, if they're not up to your taste, they're not up to your taste. I watched them. First one is just meh, with a couple scenes that are very heavy-handed, like messaging. The second one is just bad. It feels like an extended Disney Plus special. And then, yeah, like I won't watch Shang-Chi, so I can't ding you for not wanting to watch the Carol Danvers movies. So anyway, back to what we were talking about. Now that I've already wasted my transition about talking about Bucky, so we also got this trailer for the Thunderbolts, and there's not a lot to write, just sort of like with the last one, there's not a lot to write home about. There's a couple shots of action. There's a couple introductions of the characters. But I am very, very bummed about this movie because, one, you guys know this, I love Florence Pugh. She is like my Hollywood waifu, like supreme. I think she is gorgeous. Like I get like puppy dog, like cartoony, like anytime she's on screen. So I love Florence Pugh. I love all of these, like a lot of these characters I very much like. Like I do like John Walker, as we were just talking about. I do like Bucky, and I know this will be a bit controversial because he's a little over the top, but I do like Red Guardian. Like I genuinely do. So to that end, if you watch this trailer, it's very, very clear that for the first time in a long time, this cast of like this MCU cast actually has genuine chemistry. A lot of the interactions these guys have in the trailer, again, go like watch it on your own time so you can hear all the audio and whatnot. It all feels natural. It feels like it jives. It feels like they are actually sort of real people conversing to an extent, because that's where this caveat for me comes in, which is I'm so bummed. What makes me so bummed about it is that you've got great chemistry. You've got some fun characters, even if, there's all that complaints we've had before that they're all just super soldier spy ops. But this trailer goes so hard in the Marvel humor. Like, it is distracting. It is embarrassing. Like this right here. She's like, Yelena's taking a phone call and she's like, is the mission done? Well, and she turns around and now he's done. Right? Like, and this bothers me because, one, I don't know what that gerbil thing is about. I love my animals, but I'm sure this is some quirky, like, oh, well, isn't that so, like, yeah, quirky for her? But also, this is a bad spy work because you are now on camera in what looks to be China or Japan, maybe? Can't tell specifically which one. I'm not good at recognizing kanji, and they both use kanji. So, whatchamacallit. So now you're like, this city's got to have cameras. It's got to have security. You're now on camera being the only person not flipping your shit at the explosion, which is like, well, there we go. There's our suspect. There's our main suspect. Let's do this. So it's just very, very handed with all of the Marvel humor. It feels like Marvel humor on steroids. It shocks me that is something that is an appraisal I can give. But you can sort of see it right here, right? Like Red Guardian in his underwear. We got the joke. Oh, she doesn't know who he is. There's the joke. It's just, it's not great. And like I said, yeah, like I'm not stoked for this movie. I am now very, very much bummed. I was never really stoked for this movie because, like, who said it here? Timon, Thunderbolts are not the Suicide Squad. And that's what they sort of turned them into here, is literally like, here are all the anti-hero, like, killing heroes in the MCU. Now let's make them a team. It just, and again, everybody is a super soldier. I was never really hot on this, but then I watched this trailer and sometimes you can watch a movie and you like parts of it. There are other parts you don't like. And I was like, oh, maybe at least I'll like the character interactions. There could be some fun thing right there. But the absolute amount of Marvel humor is just so distracting because it's even more so than we normally get. But yeah, so I really don't, let's see. Yeah, no, like I just that's what pisses me off here is you have this scene where Red Guardian's like, we should call ourselves the Thunderbolts, and then everybody's like, groan. He's like, what? It sounds cool. And it's like, you're making fun of the fact of like, you're still fucking like 16 years out of the MCU and you're still making fun of like team names. Like there was a reason as who is it in here? Yeah, Timon knows this because he's my other OG Thunderbolts guy. The name Thunderbolts came from their slogan, justice like lightning because they were trying to establish themselves as a legitimate super team. Yes, it was Zemo trying to, cause chaos as Citizen V, but still, it was a serious thing that was taken seriously. And so it makes me feel like I'm being gaslit, honestly, because you have Marvel all the time going, oh yeah, no, we love all of this stuff. We want to be more true to the comics. We want to do this and that. And yet you still can't even have a character say, let's take on this name without having to turn to the audience and go, get a load of this guy, Cam, right? It's just grating. It's just a bummer. Again, I think the biggest bummer here is that I like so many of these guys and ultimately they're being wasted. It is such a bummer. The only other thing I really have to say about this is, Bob is from Top Gun. Bob is what was his name? Wasn't it just Bob? His flight name? I feel like that's just what it was. But, so actually, thank you, Volume Dealer. That's what I was just going to address. Who's gonna die? I think we know right here. Notice who's not on the lineup here. Taskmaster. I am pretty 900% sure that Taskmaster is going to get sentried, right? I feel or sentried, but what I meant to say was I think she's going to get Aries. I think the first time Bob transforms, he's going in that, so if we've all seen trailers, we all sort of kind of have mini plot points that we all understand, but we learned in the first trailer that the reason they all come to this room is because they were assigned to go there. And then as you see, they try, it's basically like a burn box. They want to get all the assets there that are dangerous, that they can't control, and destroy them, which is what you see. Is it right there? No, there's that shot where they're running from fire. Yeah, right here. See, you see the jets being turned on and they all sort of run out of the room. Yeah, whoosh. So I'm pretty sure that in that moment, Sentry's going to transform under due to stress, and whatever reason, he's going to end up probably not ripping her in half, because I think that would be a little too over the top, but probably punching her dead, like punching a hole in her or something, because she is not. If you go through this trailer, she's not in most of it. The only time I think we saw her was I think it's in this quick little rundown of everybody in the room. I genuinely think this is the only time we see her. Oh, yes, I'm John Walker. I'm John Walker. Ha, 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 ha. Quip, quip, quip. Oh, yeah, she's right there. Yeah, she gets punched right there by Ghost. Poof. Go 1 second back. Yeah, see, there you go. You can tell that's Taskmaster. I know. Well, okay. Yes, they use the Toadies track, but it's also the thing I make fun of, where, of course, it's a freaking minor key rendition of the song. But yeah, I can't believe I went to go listen to that album after the trailer, and I was like, oh my God, this is that old. It's 20 years old. Get me out of here. Timon is right. This is why it's not the Thunderbolts. No Zemo, Goliath, Moonstone, Beetle, Fixer, no Screaming Mimi. I genuinely imagine if they did that, though. Instead of building up to these guys being this anti-hero team, they built up to them being like, let's try and redeem ourselves, and they get suckered by Citizen V or something. You could have done a real storyline here that would have been pretty entertaining and ambitious, but instead I feel like they're just going to go for the lowest common denominator. Not excited about this movie. Again, it makes me so sad. Florence looks amazing with the short hair, the short blonde hair, and it just makes me so sad that this is we'll see her here, and then we'll probably see her in the Avengers movies, and then that's probably it for her in the MCU, which is yeah, get rid of her. No, her character doesn't really have a point, and Florence is probably better served being in literally anything else. Doesn't change the fact that it's going to be a bummer that I don't get to see her ever. All right. So with that, we are winding in on the last half hour of the show. I think with that then, first I want to address this from Shinkai. hard for me to see MCU Taskmaster and not put quotations. Yeah, I don't really know anybody who has vibed with this version of Taskmaster. Like even sort of normies, if you will. I don't think they vibed with it. I think that's why we're seeing her being used as the cannon fodder in Falcon and the Winter, or in Thunderbolts. Also, I think she's being used as cannon fodder because she doesn't talk. So she would sort of just be there the whole time taking orders. And I don't think Marvel writers are capable of playing with that idea, with that trope of a silent character, because they got to have their quips. If a Marvel writer can't write a quip in like every 30 minutes, they implode. They just literally cease to be. They Infinity War dust out. So that's what you got to look forward to in the MCU. Shang-Chi is back. Thunderbolts looks terrible. Falcon and the Winter, or Brave New World, is basically Winter Soldier, but worse. So what do you say, guys? What do you say we wrap this show up by taking a quick run over to the world of comic books instead of the MCU? Let's get to the proper source material. Why not? Why not? Because you know what, guys? For the first time in a long while, Amazing-Spider-Man was not fucking painful to get through. So what you're looking at here, the very first issue of the post-Zeb Wells Spider-Man era, Amazing Spider-Man Volume 6, number 61, the first run of Joe Kelly's sort of mini filler arc, The 8 Deaths of Spider-Man. If you guys don't remember, Joe Kelly is a very long-running writer over at Marvel. He is probably best known for shepherding Deadpool into the character we know him now, the Merc with a Mouth, because if you guys go back and you read like Liefeld's original take on Deadpool, he's still crazy and like detached from reality, but in an actually dangerous way. Like the first time him and Wolverine ever fight, it's because Wolverine's visiting like a couple friends, and one of them happens to like know somebody who was like Deadpool's ex-girlfriend, and Deadpool out of nowhere shows up like slashing up everything, doing the like, I demand to know why we're not together. You're like I should be with you. That's what we were like. He's crazy. And so Joe Kelly sort of took him from just generic crazy man into fourth wall breaking silly man. It wasn't until he's not responsible for him getting ridiculous. That would be Daniel Way handling Deadpool throughout most of the 2000s, the late 2000s. But yeah, Joe Kelly, very, very solid writer. I'm glad that you bring that up to Hillam. Nice looking cover. It is, because this is by our man, or my man at least, Ed McGuinness. I think Ed McGuinness is probably one of the best artists working in comic books like today. He has a very distinct, muscular, slim look to everybody. Everybody looks very defined, very, very, there's a lot of just life and sort of, I don't know. It's just, I love Ed McGuinness's art. If you guys have been here for a long time, which I feel like a lot of you guys watching now and probably in the post show have been, back when we were doing Wells's run, McGuinness's art was something I was always lamenting, because I was like, dude, this is so good, but it's being wasted on such dog water. So long story short, let's get into what is happening in the life of Peter Parker now that Zeb Wells is gone. So we open with sort of just a mini opening scene where Spider-Man is taking on a villain named Burnout, who is new. In doing that, his bag of stuff sort of, falls out of his reach. But in the process of trying to rescue this guy and stop the villain, all of his stuff gets destroyed. Right there, you can sort of see it, like, oh, there it all breaks. So because of that, here's what I don't like. That opening scene is pretty fun, and don't worry, guys, I'll get back to the Doom stuff in a second. But I want to address this sort of before we get into the real meat of the fun stuff that we can talk about. So I feel really bad for Joe Kelly, because it genuinely feels, so we get this brief moment, this about 2-page moment, three to four, let's call it 3. We'll say 3, about 3 pages of Peter's personal life. And what it shows is that, look at him, he's irresponsible again. All of his stuff gets damaged again. He can't, do errands right. He can't, he's unreliable. Andrew pointed this out on Foil Variant last night. They've even got him dressing sort of like a 20-year-old again. And so I feel bad because these 3 pages are the only pages we get of this crap. Joe immediately like gets away from it, and I was telling Andrew, I feel like what this is like Joe Kelly doesn't want to deal with that. He knows it's there. He has to acknowledge it because that's the hand he's dealt. But he very, very clearly just is like, I don't want to do any of this, because we immediately launch into the main part of the story. So what is the main part of the story, Spencer? You might be asking that. If you guys remember Blood Hunt, which I don't think anybody would, because it was an awful event and I didn't recommend it. If you picked it up on a recommendation, it did not come from me. But regardless, at the end of that event, basically Doctor Doom is able to manipulate and trick Doctor Strange into passing the title of Sorcerer Supreme onto him. So now Doom is the Earth Sorcerer Supreme, hence his meeting with Spider-Man right here. So what we learn is he comes to ask for Spider-Man's help in something called the Covenant, and nobody knows exactly what that is. And Peter, this is why I like the writing here. Peter tells him pretty much to piss off. There's no like, oh, you're Doctor Doom, let me try and see how great you are, or whatever. Like, Joe Kelly remembers Spider-Man is the good guy and says, piss off. Yes, exactly. A lot of that fun comes from Ed McGuinness's style. It's this good marriage of like classic look with modern techniques. So like you see the robotic mouth style that Kirby used to do, especially with only the actual like whites and pupils of his eyes being visible. We don't get that a lot in like modern art, right? You can see his mouth behind there, or maybe the mouth is closed. So it very much leans into comic. Like McGuinness loves comic books, and he's like, I want comic books to be comic books, not what was it on the What If thing, the elevated experience or elevated cinema quality, whatever the shit that was. But so Peter tells him to piss off, and eventually he gets in this monster shows up in the middle of New York, Sintros, and starts tearing things up. And Peter tries to fight him and ends up getting his ass kicked because it's just a very, very powerful thing. So I wanted to get to this page specifically. That's why I jumped a little bit, because this is our beautifully illustrated setup for what the story is. Now, so the story of this 8 Deaths of Spider-Man is that back in the day when Doctor Strange became the Sorcerer Supreme, he realized that for all he could do with protecting Earth from magical threats, there were going to be threats that he could not perceive, that he would not understand, just like cosmic, paranormal, occult entities, just the demons of the demons of the demons of the demons. So being sort of young and naive, he goes and he strikes a deal with, as Timon points out, not quite a Red Lantern, but Cyrotac, the demon entity that actually gives Juggernaut his powers, and is also the one responsible for one of Doctor Strange's main spells, or most well-known spells, the Bands of Cyrotac. So basically, Cyrotac says, okay, Doctor Strange, I will help you on one condition. Every couple of years, you have to, just for my own entertainment, you have to fight all 8 of my children. And if you do, then I'll keep helping you. If you don't, deal's off, and whatever comes your way, comes your way. It's very, and so, hold on, before I go on to the next point, where I was saying very, but so Doctor Strange agrees, and over the years, he is able to, best the kids as best as he can. In doing that, though, he got these items right here called the Reeds of Ragador that are basically like Phoenix Downs. If you die, they automatically get used, and you come back to life. And so that is sort of, that was something Doctor Strange used in his battles to make sure that even if he goes down, he'll be able to. What did I say? Didn't I say? Did I say Cyrotac instead of Sidorak? Yeah, I did screw that up. Yeah, no, that's my bad. I meant Sidorak. I don't know what it is about his name. I will probably screw this up a lot more in the future, because I've always screwed it up ever since I was a kid. The exact same error. So with Doctor Strange no longer being the Sorcerer Supreme, the duty falls onto Doctor Doom, and Doctor Doom admits, like, I'm not a hero. I'm not the right person for this task because I'm not selfless. I'm not willing to put it all on the line. So he goes and he chooses Spider-Man. And so that's where we get this really awesome costume. Here's the full one that or not awesome, but here's where we get this costume. Like I said, it's very much the original spider armor, but given a really cool Kamen Rider-esque scarf. This is all. Are you talking about who drew this or who drew this? Because this is still this is Ed McGuinness. The interior, the inset pages are, I forget where's the credits page? Is it at the end? Oh yeah, it is Nico Hentrian. Yeah, so different people, but then Doom gives him this magic spider armor, which, like, here's where I'm torn, guys. And now that you can see, Nico Hedron. So now you can see sort of where I'm torn. I like the scarf. I really, really like that because that's a Kamen Rider thing, and I've always been a big fan of that in just any design element. I think the coloring does work. Timon pointed that out here with his Iron Spider Spawn comment, even has the green glow. I like the green glow too. I think there's just like something isn't landing about this for me. I think maybe because it's just the base suit recolored, right? Like they didn't give it a new design like the Iron Spider or the Symbiote or anything. Maybe that's it. Like maybe if he had gone all silver or all red and the scarf was different, that would work. I'm not entirely sure, but I am kind of like, so I'm torn on the actual design, but I really like what they do with it because this page is awesome. Spider-Man dons it. It gives him sort of like, if he was a Kamen Rider, it downloads all of like the combat information and move information into his brain. So now he has like, oh, I can use magic. I can do, web lines. I don't know if it's the lack of blue because Iron Spider is one of my favorite costumes for him. And that's just red and yellow. It's just, maybe it's something, maybe not specifically blue, but something to do with like the color balance, right? Maybe there's just too much red and silver and not enough of another color balancing it. I'm not sure. There will probably be a day where an artist on Twitter draws a really cool rendition of it, and I'll be like, that's it. That's what I was looking for. And if that day comes, I will let all of you know. So yeah, we get this really cool sequence where Spider-Man starts using magic webs, using magic portals, and he takes on this son of Sidorak, who happens to have a black hole in his mouth. Now, here's where so this, honestly, it's not the deepest plot line, but it's sort of, it's entertaining. An 8-person tournament, it's very shonen. Andrew said it last night, it's a tournament arc. So those aren't, anything special narratively, like nothing to go like, oh, this is so new and different, we got to check this out. But they can always be a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun with tournament arcs, no matter sort of what they're in, because you get to see different combat techniques, you get to see different characters fighting. Could be cool, and it's also really nice that, this is clearly going to take Peter away from his shitty Post-Zeb Wells life. And at least as a reader, it's like, original Iron Spider is not silver and black, Timon. It is red and gold. The one that he got from Tony during the Civil War, definitely gold and red. Unless you're talking about the spider armor, which is what I am talking about when I say like the silver plated one and the black one that he wore to like back in the 90s. That's just his armored one. That's not an iron one. But yeah, so like I'm kind of stoked that as a reader, I know we got to deal with it, but at least we're putting off all the awful Peter Wells life status quo for a couple issues. But this is where this is where the book for me leapt from like, all right, could be cool, not against it, to like, now I'm in for this. So what happens is, so again, a lot of what I'm about, like, take in the art for all of these pages because the art is really selling all of this. It's not the art. That's not the iron though. That's not what it is. It's the armored suit. So what happens is Peter punches open, the bad guy's black hole mouth, and he gets ripped to shreds. Like he goes into the event horizon. It rips him apart. he gets met by Phil Coulson, who is currently dead. Long story. Don't really feel like getting into that right now. But he, uses one of the reeds and he comes back to life. And we get this amazing panel from Ed McGuinness of Peter's body. His atoms are reconstituting. He acknowledges here, nothing in magic comes without cost. The cost of defying the very foundation of immortal existence is pain, inconceivable pain. So he's feeling all of the death, all of the revival, and everything in between. And then, we see him whew, holy shit, that sucked. And then we get the reveal from Doctor Strange here, or the Spirit of Strange, that, yeah, if you want to beat them all, you're going to die while beating them all. So that to me is sort of this very compelling narrative bend. I really want to see how Joe Kelly plays with the horror of being killed and coming back all the time versus Peter's drive to be a hero and save the world. I hope we get more cool magic spider techniques like we got on that one page, because it's just very dynamic, very cool. A neat, different power set for him that isn't just giving him a Kamehameha or a sword like Gwen and Miles. And honestly, it's just nice to know that, I don't know, it's not Zeb Wells. Whoever, Kelly really wants to write Spider-Man. They want to do something fun with it. It's just not, it's just none of that. I don't have to deal with any of that from Zeb Wells anymore. And this looks like it could be fun. Ed McGuinness's art, I will always be there whenever he draws anything. That's half the reason I read the extremely stupid Heroes Reborn event from a couple years ago. I read it in trades. I didn't follow it, but I only picked it up because I was like, it's got Princess Zarda, who I really, really like, and it's got Ed McGuinness. Okay, fine, fuck it. It's not good, but hey, it's got Ed McGuinness art. Look at the Discord. I know what you're talking about, Timon. This isn't a counter argument to anything I'm saying. This is, why is it on that one? Let's go. This is not Iron Spider. This is, it was colloquially called that for a short bit, but this is now officially, since probably around here, this is the armor, the spider armor, the armored spider look. This isn't Iron Spider. Iron Spider specifically refers to the one from Civil War where Tony gave it to him, because it is Iron Man spider suit. Again, I know what you're talking about, and I acknowledged it all throughout. It's just, this isn't Iron Spider. So yeah, but basically, Ed McGuinness art, I'm here for it. It feels like a breath of fresh air just to have Spider-Man not dealing with Paul and Kamala Khan and Norman Osborn being a good guy. It's just, or turning into a goblin. All of that, now, even when I repeat it out loud right now, all of that stuff that came out of Zeb Wells' run just sounds like really, really bad. If all of us were, Shinkai, Volume Dealer, Tehillim, Timon, Corey, if all of us were sitting around a bar and hey, what do you, what kind of ideas would you have for a Spider-Man run? Come up with the worst Spider-Man run you possibly could. Everything he did was an answer we would have given. So maybe I'm just in that sort of we're getting something new, so I like it phase. And maybe this will turn out to just be another meh story, but at least it'll be a meh story that's, not retreading 100% the same ground we've gone over with Peter for 50, 60 years, right? I'm tired of loser Peter. There are so many times when we've seen him go in advance in life, and then they just crap on him. I don't know why I'm recapping like that. You guys all know it. We all know One More Day. We all know Parker Industries. We all know all of that stuff. But it's just, here's hoping, Joe. Here's hoping, Joe and Ed, that you guys can keep it up. That, you've got me hooked or let's say you've got me interested in the series so far. And I want to trust you guys. I mean, Ed, you'll probably deliver amazing art all throughout. Joe, I know you're a great writer, and I really hope you can deliver on this one. But we'll have to wait and see. Might be cool. I don't know, folks, but at least it is a dawn of a brand new day that does not involve Zeb Wells. But with that, I think, oh, look at that. We're like right on the 2.5 hour mark, the perfect time for us to probably start wrapping up. With that, guys, I'm going to go back to our main window. Thank you. I'm going to thank every one of you guys for coming to hang out with me tonight, from Tehillim to Shinkai to Volume Dealer to Timon, Corey, Andrew, Zero. Duck was here for a little bit. Reeve was here for a little bit. I know there's a bunch of you who don't chat or watching the VOD afterwards. Don't worry, I still see you. I still love you. I still appreciate you. If it weren't for all of you guys watching, live and post viewers, I couldn't do this every week. I couldn't come and entertain you guys, hang out, have fun. And you know what? I look forward to this every week. So you know what? I like doing it. We're going to keep doing it. Obviously, guys, as you know, next week, hopefully, if all things go right and Bounding Into Comics doesn't implode in the meantime, we will have a new stream layout. Nothing else really is changing. The format's not changing. The content's not changing. It's just going to give it a new coat of paint for our 52 era, our 50 era. Because, again, I slapped this together really, really fast about a year ago. So, with that, as always, you guys can follow me on Twitter here at Kabuto Writer Mav. Subscribe to the channel Studio Kabuto if you haven't already. Go check out Foil Variant here on YouTube, just like it's spelled, FOILVARIANT. If that's too much effort for you to remember, you guys can go down to the description in this video. I have a link to the channel right there. Again, Thursday nights, that's when Andrew and I go live. We hang out, we have comic book tops. It's a great time, and we talk to you guys as well. So if that's up your alley, come hang out with us. As always, check out boundingintocomics.com every day. Wednesday nights on the Bounding Into Comics channel, come hang out for the 01 stream with me, Jacob Nerdigans Insider, where we break down the biggest, main, most talked about pop culture news stories of the week thus far. It's always a blast. We'd love to see you. As always, come back next week, same Mav time, same Mav channel, for another episode of The Good Mav Ugly. Who knows what we'll talk about? It's always a mystery, but it's always fun. Yep, let's see. Yeah, Corey's heading out to bed. He's got work in the morning. Volume Dealer's calling it a night. Or he's not calling it a night. He's saying good night because I'm calling the stream a night. But yes, guys, thanks for hanging out with me tonight. I hope you guys had fun. It very clearly looks like Marvel doesn't have a bright future ahead of it, at least in the terms of the MCU. Yeah, dude, always fun. I always love hanging out with you guys. It is a genuine blast, a pleasure, an honor for me to be able to, take up about 2 hours of your time every week to just chat with you guys, check in, see what you guys like, see what you're all about, and get corrected when I'm wrong. Like, Volume Dealer totally got me on the Norman Rockwell thing, and it led us to finding out that even more embarrassing quote about cinema quality, right? So I love literally every single one of you who is here, who is watching, who is hanging out. I hope I'll see you again next week. Unfortunately, I had sort of a slightly busy day, so there was no proper last call for last minute news now, but let's say I inserted the scene from Spider-Man 2 where Spider-Man whips the giant clock arm back at Dr. Octopus, and then it's left to fall to gravity, and it probably killed, a taxi driver down in Midtown. But who knows? But you can imagine that now. Have a great weekend, everybody. Go do something fun. Go hang out with people you love. Go play something you love. Read something good. Remember, it's rough out there right now, but life is not 100% awful. There's always good things to, enjoy, invest in, all that fun stuff. So go have fun. Keep it up. You're all amazing, and I cannot wait to see you next week. But until then, take it easy.
As the creator of Mara Jade,
Wait! I am not the creator of Mara Jade, and I want you to get out of this office right now.
I'm sorry, Zeb.
No way.
You brought
no
it on
way.
You brought it on yourself.
I don't want you here.
I'm so sorry, George. I didn't think it would go like this.
Out.
Ted, I got your voucher.
Out! There.
I'm sorry about that. I'm so sorry. We'll have him burned and
I don't even know who that guy is.